Doody doo doo doo, and I'm singing.
All night
All
long.
right, we sound. We're sound is good. Good sound is me have good sound is what I'm saying. Me have good sound. Welcome, welcome to the live stream where we do it live. I am Tony D, and that's Little Joan, who's fast asleep. And today we're going to be talking about movies. I know it's a bit of a departure for a Hollywoke hot take to talk about movies, but we are. And let me tell you something. This week's box office is not good. It's really not good. It is. It is very sad in movie town. Mm. Um, if I was a movie exec, I'd be looking to get my resume jazzed up. I mean, it is bad. It is bad out there. But we'll get into that. But first, what did I do this week? Well, I didn't do a lot of shows because now I'm back in holiday mode. Ardent Movies? Why? Ardent is here. Hi, Ardent. But I actually did a lot of shows this weekend. I did 2 shows yesterday. One at the Dickens Craft Share show, which was friggin' gangbusters. Thanks to everybody in Mays Landing for that. Then I did Maker's Workshop in Laurel Springs, not very far from me. And then today I did the Holiday Extravaganza, which is actually pretty good today. So I had a good weekend. JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. Yeah, this time of year things are winding down. I actually had one of my late December events cancel, so I'm scrambling to fix that. Fix the last weekend in December with something. Arden is saying hello. Yeah, nothing really to report at the shows. It was usual stuff. Usual great folks coming out. Heard some new takes on the Jersey Devil. One guy who had seen the Jersey Devil up in a tree and then pointed to my book and said, yeah, he kind of looked like that. Said he saw him when he was 11 and he was pretty freaked out. He was on a canoe trip. Saw him up in the tree looking the other way, and he said, I just stayed quiet and kept slowly rowing, hoping to get past him so he wouldn't see me. So that was kind of freaky. And you could usually tell when people are winding you up. So this was another one of those examples where he was like, he seemed to be totally serious. But, you know, a lot of the usual, like, oh, yeah, my dad told me about the Jersey Devil, or, you know. And then I run into various people who live in the Pines, who are out at these shows. And sometimes they've definitely heard it, but they don't always see it. Today's show was near, what town was it in? I guess that's Morristown. Or no, it was Hainesport, New Jersey. And that's not too far from Mount Holly. And 3 or 4 of the Pineys books, at least one, a lot of it takes place in Mount Holly, but the other 2 or 3 books, Mount Holly is mentioned or they go to it. And so, yeah, they were pretty excited. They're a bit old school in Mount Holly. If you've never been, Mount Holly, New Jersey, was founded in 1677, so it's a very historic town here. Anyhow, not to get too deep in Jersey Devil lore. What time is it? 7:02. Okay, so let's get started. I may end this not short, but like a normal time, like 9. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There's not a lot to talk about, quite frankly. It's horrifying. The box office is not just bad, it's horrifying this week. So, LeMay is here. Hi, hi, hi. Oh, he doesn't say hi, hi, hi. He just says hi. So prepare yourselves, movie fans, for a box office that's not good. Now, it's not bad in terms of the money. Its money is, I think it's probably slightly better than 2 or 3 weeks ago when it was like at 67 or 71. But wait till you see what's on the top of the charts here. So looking at the numbers, at the top, number one again is Moana 2. Moana 2 is the number one movie. Now it dropped 63% in its second week. And that's a bad sign, right? That is a bad sign. JC, Wicked didn't say Christmas after all. Well, no, Wicked's number two for the third. I guess this is the second week in a row, and then the first weekend it was number one. But Moana dropped 63%, and it's still the number one movie at 52 million, which is a big amount of money. I mean, this is, it's done 300 million here and overseas. Oh, Wicked didn't save Christmas after all. Well, it definitely saved Thanksgiving, but will it save Christmas? I don't know. My girlfriend went to go see it with her girlfriends, and she said it was just, she liked the movie, at least for part of it, and she just said after a couple hours it was like, this movie's too long, because it's like a 3-hour movie apparently. Oh my God, I can't sit through that. No way. I will, however, sit through Joker 2, which I think dropped on Max this week, and I promised to look at it. So I haven't. I'll probably do it this week because things have finally slowed down for me. But man, I'm not looking forward to that because I hear that's really, really bad. But this Moana, 600 million. That's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good considering what's its budget. We don't know. I mean, opening weekend it was 139, and then it drops to 52, which is a bigger drop, but still, it's still number one. So, international is steady. Look at France. France loves this movie. You weirdos in France. JC, yeah, I want to hear what you think of Joker 2. Did you see Joker 1? I didn't. Joker 1's good. I like Joker 1 a lot. But I'm very mad about Joker 2 now that I hear he basically S's on the audience. But I said I'd say it, so I'll watch it. Oh, look. China didn't do, did 7.6 million, but it did more in France. That's weird. 18 million. Wow, the French love these Polynesian cartoons. Who knew? I guess they had something had to replace Jerry Lewis. I guess it's this. So 300 million or 600 million total. That's it's definitely a hit, I think, because I don't think this thing costs more than probably around 120 million, maybe, if that. So maybe it costs 200 million with the advertising. So that's a good return. It's not going to hit $1 billion though. Next week will be 25 million. So 650 it gets to, and then maybe it squeaks to, I don't know, maybe it gets to 700, 750 maybe. But that ain't too shabby. Ain't too shabby in my book, but still, you got the number one movie in America is something that played last week and dropped by 63%. It's in 4,200 theaters. I think that's the maximum amount of theaters. That's the highest I've ever seen it. That's got to be double screens in some places. And then Wicked is number two at 34 million. And that dropped 57% from last week. So that was still up there last weekend. And how's this doing? 455 million. So that's not bad. And they got a sequel coming out. If you could possibly imagine sitting through two of these movies. I mean, is the next one going to be 3 hours long too? That's like 6 hours of your life. That should be 3 movies. 3 movies, Hollywood. Movies are 2 hours, not 3. Except for Lord of the Rings. I give a pass to Lord of the Rings. It's epic. I don't know this. I don't want to say it. Too many songs, maybe. Cut out some songs. I don't know. Get it down to two. Get it down to two. First act, second act, third act, each do a movie. That to me would be the way to go. But so yeah, Wicked is doing 455. So this cracks a $500 million and then probably starts going to sleep. We have no budget on this. Oh wait, no, we do 145 million. So yeah, this is money in the bank. Unfortunately, I think this has just opened the door to doing a ton of these girly Broadway plays. JC, a prequel to The Wizard of Oz should be one movie. Yeah, I agree. But apparently it's based on a book. And then Broadway play. And I don't know. They're doing it in 2 parts. But if you're going to do 2 parts, and they're longer, and they're 3 hours long, you might as well do it in 3 parts then. I mean, even if you end the damn thing on a cliffhanger, shoot the whole movie at once. Like, shoot all 6 hours at once, do the whole thing, and then release it. I mean, like, release one. I mean, now's the wrong time. Now would be the time to release the 3rd movie, but I would release it, something like maybe 2 months apart, right? So you want the last one on Christmas, let's say, for Christmas weekend. Maybe the other one for November. Yeah, you want November for Thanksgiving weekend. So that's about a month apart. And then the other one, I mean, you could start at Halloween, and then do the whole Oppenheimer thing, except pair it with a horror movie. So the guys go see a horror movie and the girls go see Wicked. JC, the 2 movies are going to be almost 3 times as long as the play. Yeah, sounds that way. I mean, who the hell could sit through a play like this? I don't know. People love this stuff. I don't know why. And then Gladiator 2. Again, number 3. Second weekend in a row. I don't think this got to number 1. I think this was at 2. The same week Wicked came out, right? And now it's 3. And then maybe next week it'll be 3. That's crazy. 12.4 million. I mean, it's doing okay, I guess. At 368 worldwide. It's doing better overseas. Like twice as better. No budget, but I don't think this cost 200 million. It might have, but I doubt it. I mean, it was definitely $100 million, I would say. JC, open the first one on Christmas, open the second one middle of the summer, and the third one Thanksgiving. That's kind of far apart, though. I think that's too far apart. But that's not a bad strategy. I wouldn't discount that either. Like, yeah, maybe a month apart is a little too soon. I mean, you could do Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend for number 2. Do the last one for Christmas and the holidays. And the first one you could do end of summer. So maybe August? No, July. Big opening, July. Follow up in Labor Day weekend. And then drop the third one on Christmas. See, I think, releasing it over the course of a year is too long. Especially if it shouldn't be 3 movies. Like if it's literally Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, then I think you should try to release them close to each other. And then you could just stack them all together. Once you get the third movie out, then you could encourage theaters to like stack them all together in some discount rate where you get to see all 3 movies for like, I don't know what you would charge. I mean, if you're already going to show a 3 hour friggin' movie and another 3 hour friggin' movie, probably back to back, you just charge them for 2 movies. But at least if there were 3 movies, even though it would be the same amount of time, it would feel like a discount. Oh, I got to see 3 movies for the price of 2. You got to have a little intermission between them. JC, the first one will be in theaters through to January. You want them to have a long tail. Yeah, but January's done. I mean, yeah, it'll be there until January. There's nothing else against it. Everything else is dying. But January, it's done. As soon as New Year's is over, everybody goes back to work. Nobody's going to the movies. Nobody wants to go outside, I'd say. But number 4 is Red One. So this movie, I think, again, because there's nothing really up against it. I guess you could count Wicked as a Christmas movie, kind of, but not really. This is the biggest Christmas movie. $163 million. Production budget $200 million. Oh, it still hasn't made its budget. Oof. Oofa. Look at that. So you got the number 4 movie in America. In its 4th week, it's still number 4. And yet, it hasn't made its money back. It hasn't made its production back. Yeesha. So, at $7 million, will it? Let's do the math on this. So, next week, for both domestic and international, maybe it does $7 million. That would put it at 170. Then next week, say, be really generous, throw it $4 million. It's 174, and then 170. No, it's not going to make it. I don't think so. Might just squeak into 200 million, but I doubt it. They spent too much money on it. Bottom line, just spent too much money. But it's Amazon, so really, this is all gravy to them, I think. They don't really care. I mean, they kind of care, but that it almost broke even, or probably will break even, with all the stuff they sold, because they probably lied about the budget. And, I think all the movies lie about their budget, so I don't think they're doing anything different. I think they probably overinflated it. They probably already made their money. So, say it broke even, and then it's just a big budget movie on Amazon that it's exclusively on their platform. So that's a value, I guess. Still, though, I don't know if I even want to see it. I mean, it just looks dull. Back in theaters at number 5. Number 5. Now, this one blows my mind. Interstellar, which, for my money, wasn't a good film. I didn't like Interstellar. I thought it was terrible. I could see the end of it coming a mile away. I didn't think the sci-fi was very good. I kind of liked the robot. And I kind of liked the premise. But I thought the execution was terrible. Too heady, I don't know, too much. It just didn't work for me, the whole movie. But, I mean, people love it for some reason. And it's at 4.4 million. And it's the 5th biggest movie this weekend. JC, yeah, Amazon launders money through movies for the write-off, 100%. I think so, yeah. I can't say that for sure, but, I mean, they make so much money. Even if they lose all the money, like, I'm 100% convinced they just don't care if they ever make money with Rings of Power. They're perfectly fine because they need to write off so much. They're just burning it. They're just blowing it as fast as they can, going, we don't care if we make money. I wish I could get some of that we don't care if we make money. Don the Second is here. Sup, chat? Sup? Hold on, blowing up on the phone. Okay. But Interstellar, I never thought was a great movie at all. I kind of tolerated it. I I almost shut it off. When it got to the bookshelf scene, spoilers, yeah, I was like, oh, come on. Come on, really? This is too much. To me, it's my least favorite Christopher Nolan film, and I kind of like Christopher Nolan. He tries cool stuff. I still haven't seen Tenet yet, so that may change. I hear Tenet is just not good, but Interstellar, yeah, it's just not good. But it's only in 165 theaters. It's the fifth largest grossing movie this weekend, and it's only in 165 theaters. That's got to be IMAX, by the way, because they charge, I think, more money. Don't they charge like $20 a ticket or 25 for IMAX? And wow, that's just crazy amount of money for a very tiny amount of theaters. And the overall sales, if you count the home market, was about 700 million. So, JC, I think Nolan is overrated. I think he peaked with Memento. I like what's the name? The Leonardo DiCaprio one. You know, the one with the other Memento movie. I can't think of the name. What the hell? Gosh, the one with the top. Oh, criminies! I gotta look it up. Blah 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 blah. Inception, that one. Yeah, I thought Inception was fine. I don't like it overall. I think plot wise it has a huge holes. Inception totally overrated, says JC. I tend to agree with you, but I do like the fight scenes, the zero G fight scenes, and I wish he had just had a better explanation of the dream within a dream stuff he was doing. Don the Second, Memento was so good. LOL. It's good. I like Memento. But I kind of like Inception better. Inception is a stoner type of flick. LOL. Yeah. I guess the nice thing about Memento, it's less ambitious because it's a smaller budget, so it kind of sticks to one guy. And JC, it's a movie about a dream logic, but the dreams are so dull and flatly shot. Could have done anything but did basic action scenes. Yeah. Well, I'm more pissed off about the logic of the dream. The dream logic doesn't make any sense to me, and it doesn't really have to make a ton of sense, but I just didn't like the dream logic. It just seemed to come out of nowhere, and it had a lot of artificial time limits, but I did kind of like them despite that. I wish they had established in the movie something in the characters that would have led to those dream sequences, right? So we would have gotten to know the characters just a little bit more to know that, I don't know, one was a professional skier, but he broke his leg. So when you got to the skiing scene, it would be like, oh, that's why they're doing skiing. You know, stuff like that. Don the Second. Today, I realized there's an S-ton of movies I need to watch before my time. LOL. Oh, yeah. Oh, everybody come up with a movie for young Don the Second to watch. JC, they don't feel like dreams. Feels like a Matrix ripoff. I would agree, yeah. Yeah, but I like the Matrix too, so. Not Matrix 2. Not Matrix 2. The Matrix. There's only one Matrix movie. The Matrix. So, Don the Second, if I had to pick movie for you to watch that was really good, I would pick Orson Welles' The Third Man. It's really good. And I would also pick North by Northwest. Now, they are very old school movies, so you might not be into them. JC says Boxer's Omen. Don the Second says the woke tricks. Yeah. No, the first Matrix is good, but yeah, the second and third one, I've never seen people walk out in the climax of a movie like I did with the Matrix 3. That was freaky. Like, I've seen people walk out of a movie, but usually it's at the beginning of the movie because it's so terrible. You just go, screw this. Like, I went to go see, oh God, Skin Deep with John. It starred John. Don't go see this movie, by the way. It stars John Ritter, and it was written by Blake Edwards, who up until that point had done a bunch of hilarious movies. And there was one scene in it. I don't want to explain it, but I stayed strictly for that scene because I heard it was funny, and it was kind of funny. But ultimately, all my friends left the movie, and I toughed it out. But I walked out of Second Sight with John Larroquette. It's a brutally bad movie. And Loaded Weapon with Emilio Estevez and Samuel L. Jackson. That was the end of Emilio Estevez for me. I love Repo Man. That's another movie you should see, Don. Repo Man's brilliant. I love that movie. It's so awesome. I rewatched it not too long ago, and I never rewatch movies, but I rewatch. I'll tell you the movies I like to rewatch: Repo Man, Animal House, and Blues Brothers. Those are my three favorite movies to rewatch. And that's it. That's pretty much it. I don't think there's a maybe North by Northwest because I like that. JC, the third one is where the wheels really come off. Yeah, it's so bad. But in the middle of the climactic battle scene with and Trinity died. Spoilers. You're not going to go see it, so I'll spoil the movie for you. Trinity dies, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. And she's like a major character in the movie, and you're just like, what? This is so boring. Ardent, at Don the Second. Maltese Falcon. Yep. The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin. Yes, the Baldwin one. It's got Tim Curry. It's okay. I don't mind The Shadow. Maltese Falcon, though, is a classic. Ardent, not sure how old Young Don is. JC, Touch of Evil is a good Orson Welles movie, too. Oh, yeah, Touch of Evil is great. I love that one. That's where, what's his name? Charlton Heston plays a Mexican dude. It's really funny. Ardent, Lady Hawk. That's pretty good. I like that. Don the Second. A movie I got suggested at the skate park today was The Blues Brothers. It's a fun movie. I like The Blues Brothers a lot. It's pretty tight, too. Ardent, Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles. Oh, yeah. Blazing Saddles is top tier. Monty Python's Life of Brian. That's pretty good. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That is also great. Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. That's pretty good. Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah. Yeah. You may go down the Smokey and the Bandit rabbit hole and see the sequels. The sequels are not as good. So be warned on that. JC, Kiss Me Deadly is a movie I watch over and over again. Don the Second. Well, I guess I'm watching Blues Brothers tonight. Thanks for the suggestions, guys. I'm 23. Ardent, Next of Kin and Roadhouse, Swayze, from Patrick Swayze, and The Outlaw Josie Wales. Ooh, yeah. Any Clint Eastwood movie is usually pretty good. Don the Second. Yeah, I haven't seen any of these. Ardent, 23. Oh, you young pup. This is going to be brutal. Get a notepad. Oh, Jesus. Here, Ardent's going to go off. But let me get back into... Don the Second, at Ardent. Literally have one open as we speak. Ardent. Sam Jackson and Green Davis action movie. Oh, yeah. The Long Kiss Goodnight. I really like that one. And I think The Last Boy Scout is underrated, but I am alone in that. I am on an island when it comes to that. I like that movie. Any movie directed by Shane Black or written by Shane Black. He wrote the first Lethal Weapon. That's a good movie if you haven't seen that. At Don the Second from Ardent, good man. Oops. Ardent, yeah, you can ignore me for a bit. Tony D. JC, yeah, Blues Brothers is good. Just don't expect it to be a comedy with a million laughs, but lots of actions and great musical numbers. Well, I think with the Blues Brothers, the laughs are. It's not like Airplane where it's like laugh, laugh, laugh. JC, A Clockwork Orange, Ardent, Top Gun, The Last Boy Scout was awesome. The Replacement Killers, Antonian Fuqua's best action flick. Um, the Raid, that was really good. I like The Raid. Ardent. Wait, Don the Second at JC. I've seen it before, but I barely remember it. Ardent at JC. Yes, in 2001, A Space Oddity. Space Odyssey. Yeah, it's good. It's a little heady. That is definitely a stoner movie. 2001. If you want to see like hardcore, like cinema, you could also watch stuff like there's a movie called Koyaanisqatsi. It means life out of balance. There's no dialogue in it. It's just images. The whole movie is images. If you want the ultimate stoner movie, watch Koyaanisqatsi. JC, Dread is better than The Raid. I don't know. I like both of them. I mean, Dread has more of a storyline. Yeah, we could do this all night, so I don't want to keep doing it. But you got plenty of movies to watch now. Ardent, LOL, go down the Van Dan rabbit hole. Hard Target, Double Team, Double Impact, Lionheart, Time Cop, Kickboxer. Time Cop is hilarious, by the way. JC, most insane movies I've ever seen is Boxer's Omen. It's on YouTube. I'll have to check that out. I've never seen it. Don the Second, that's wild. LOL trippy. Yeah, Koyaanisqatsi's. It's got, you're a musician, so you might really appreciate the score for it because it's done by Philip Glass, and he is considered like the preeminent electronic music guy. So it's all like, through the whole movie. It's very trippy, very trippy. I saw it in college and on the big screen, so it was kind of cool. LeMay, Paprika was Crazy Dream stuff. I'm not familiar with Paprika. What's the other movie I'm trying to think of, though, that's like that? Oh, shoot. The guy who directed The Seven Samurai. What the hell's his name? Kurosawa. That's his name, right? And then he did another movie. I think it's called Dreams? Not supposed to be. That's supposed to be. Sorry, I got distracted by a text. It's got, it's just all images, really. It's very dreamy. Ardent, Walken, The Prophecy, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, Seven Psychopaths, Deer Hunter. Oh, you haven't seen Deer Hunter? You got to see Deer Hunter. Don the Second, LeMay, at LeMay, of course, the one anime movie brought up I've seen. LOL. I'll have to check it out. That description sounds cool, Tony. Ardent, Desperado, From Dusk Till Dawn, Assassins, Ghost Dog. JC, Boxer's Omen is the Shaw Brothers Kung Fu movie studio trying to cash in on The Exorcist. It's insane. Ooh, that does sound cool. Ardent, classic anime, Ninja Scroll, Ghost in the Shell, Appleseed, Trigun. Deer Hunter's just before my time, Ardent says. JC, Dreams is kind of boring. Yojimbo Kurosawa movie, I would say to watch and get him into Kurosawa. Yeah, that's true. Don the Second, wow, I've actually seen Deer Hunter. Dang, that movie was sad. Yeah, that's that comes from the era. There was this whole era of movies that most of you guys missed, where they were just doing Vietnam. It was a Vietnam movie every other weekend. It was crazy. I was so sick of seeing Vietnam movies. I mean, I like Rambo, which was kind of a Vietnam movie, but not really. But like, they became such a trope after a while. It would always start with like Jimi Hendrix music, and everybody's dying and getting high and whatnot. So, yeah, it's crazy. Ardent, Jet Li, Once Upon a Time in China, Hero, Lethal Weapon 4. All the Lethal Weapon movies I would recommend, but the first one's the best one, as always. JC, all the movies made by director who did Paprika are fantastic. Tokyo Godfathers is a Christmas movie, good for this time of year. JC, Deer Hunter was boring. It's kind of a classic. Dogs of War, though, I prefer. LeMay, I saw Casualty of War. That was sad. Did I see that? That sounds super familiar. Ardent, Military, Patton, Kelly's Heroes, First Blood, Force 10 from Navarone, which has a young Harrison Ford in it. That's a really good one. Oh, man. I always want to repeat the line from the movie, but it gives away the whole plot. Yeah, you can go down the World War II rabbit hole. Oh, my God. There's so many of those. But, yeah, for a while, we were getting nothing but Vietnam movies. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was like every other week you'd get this movie, and it would start with Jimi Hendrix music, and guys getting high in like a trench somewhere in the middle of Vietnam, and then horrible, horrible things would happen. They would kill civilians, and then they'd kill a bunch of people, and then they'd all die at the end. Oh, man. It's terrible. Terrible. I saw a lot of them. All right, getting back to the list, though. Again, I'm stunned that Interstellar is number 5. I mean, this is an old movie, and it's 5th. It's 5th for the weekend. LeMay, I had to watch Philadelphia in school. AIDS/gay rights stuff. Yeah, Philadelphia is really depressing. It's a kind of movie, like some movies to me like that, they're almost pseudo documentaries, or they're sort of trying to be. They're dramatizations of real life events that most of them are very tragic. And it's like, I don't know why they even put them in the theaters, but people go see them. Or they used to. I don't know about now. I think most of them should be reserved for streaming services. Like Netflix and Amazon could do those movies now because they have a platform for them. Ardent. Predator 2. I love those movies. Aliens, plural. Also Alien. Alien's the best one. The Thing. Oh, Platoon for the military. And was the one with the line about napalm in the morning. Oh, that's Apocalypse Now. That's the best one ever. That's the one that kind of started it all. Apocalypse Now is the Vietnam movie. Because really what it is, it's an adaptation of a book that wasn't about Vietnam. Hearts of Darkness. And they adapted it, but then like applied it to Vietnam. So it's Hearts of Darkness, but Vietnam style. And Hearts of Darkness is a book by Robert Conrad, which is a class. You may have read that in high school. That would have been a book. At least when I was in school, it was on the list of high school books you should read before you go to college or whatever. I don't know if we read it. I don't think we did. I know we read excerpts from it. Yeah. Ardent, obscure as balls, and the end of my list. Flesh and Blood, The Last Unicorn, The Last Starfighter, Enemy Mine, The Sunset Limited. It's newer, but so good. The Boondock Saints, The Way of the Gun, Blood slash, and it got cut off. Yeah, so I like some of those. I like Boondock Saints. That's fun. But yeah, it kind of depends on where you want your movie Jones to go. But that's the good thing about being your age, Don. You know, movies suck so bad now. You don't have to watch any of them. You got plenty of old stuff to watch. You know, and a lot of us can still watch old stuff too. Don the Second, Boondock Saints was cool for the action. LOL. Yeah. Yeah, they did a sequel to it, which is okay. JC, Boondock Saints is dumb. LOL. Oh, it's totally dumb, but the action's cool. All right, now we get into the movies. Don the Second, literally LOL. Now we get into the movies that actually open this week, and they start at number 6, which is just crazy. But when you see that some of them, you'll understand why. Ardent, Ties with Eli Wallach, very unknown film, but worth it for the twist on vampires. District 9, I like District 9, that was really good. History of the World Part 1, classic. Yeah, all the Mel Brooks films are pretty good. The Kevin Costner Robin Hood, I don't like that movie because I hate Kevin. I mean, I consider it, I watch it ironically because Kevin Costner's accent is so terrible. Ardent, I thought it was funny. Boondock Saints. Yeah, it's just fun. It's not a movie, you know, would say it's, you know, really well put together. It's just kind of wacky. It was the equivalent of like in the 70s they made a bunch of low budget action films. The 90s were like kind of their version of low budget action films. Actually had a pretty decent sized budget. Ardent, you don't watch Robin Hood for Costner, but for Alan Rickman's sheriff. Yeah, he's great in it, but he was great in everything. Galaxy Quest, I think he's the best. JC, Boondock Saint is a dummy who saw Pulp Fiction and tried to make it his own version and took all the wrong lessons from Pulp Fiction. Wait a minute, when did Boondock Saints come out? Boondock Saints. Oh, that came out in 99. Huh. And then Pulp Fiction was earlier. Yeah, that was 94. Okay. I thought Boondock Saints was older than that. What am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking of Streets of Fire. Streets of Fire. That's another one everybody loves. I never really got into it. It's fine. 1984, yeah, Streets of Fire. Ardent, LOL, I miss Tarantino's early stuff. True Romance, Reservoir Dogs. Ardent, 96, yes. 94. True Romance, I love. I love True Romance because it has one of the funniest lines in cinema ever. It just kills you when you say it. I won't ruin it for you. Reservoir Dogs is very, very violent and mean. But I think Tarantino's overrated. You know, I really like Pulp Fiction. That's the one Tarantino movie that really comes together for me. But a lot of his other movies just never, you know, I really can't. I kind of hate Inglourious Bastards because it never delivers on what it kind of promises. And I just got pissed off after I saw it. JC, never saw Streets of Fire, but someone at Life Drawing mentioned it this week. Yeah, it's kind of like, it came out in 84, and then it was kind of like the prototype for a lot of movies that would come after it. Don the Second, the romance is a banger. Oh, True Romance is a banger. It really is. Ardent, True Romance has a great dialogue between Hopper and Walken. Yeah, that's a great scene. Ardent, and Brad Pitt as the stoner for 30 seconds. Yes. So, I don't even know what this movie is, coming in at 6. Solo Leveling, Reawakening. That sounds, yeah, it's anime. Okay. So, some anime shows up as number 6. This box office makes 0 sense. It shows up at number 6. It's only in 846 theaters. It did 2.4 million. Some of these movies are in 3,000 theaters and don't do that much money. Makes no sense. Ardent, LOL, you thought Reservoir Dogs was violent? How'd you feel about The Hateful Eight? I just thought the Hateful Eight was kind of annoying because they never leave the house. And after Tarantino went on and on about shooting this in like 70 millimeter, to never leave, to never give us like the vast vistas even once. Like in the beginning of the film, he kind of does, but like go outside one scene and show us the mountains, please. I was suffocating in that movie. I got all kinds of problems with that movie. I mean, I like Kurt Russell in it, but it just drags out and bores the hell out of me. LeMay, oh, that is a Korean web comic. Oh, okay. Ardent at JEC, I agree on Death Proof. Thought Hateful Eight was, well, okay. Oh, Korean movies. I saw The Devil. Don the Second. Anime watchers usually support their series. Yeah. But, like, what should be happening, like, you know, back in the 2000s, so, first off, Solo Leveling Reawakening wouldn't even get distribution. That, to me, is an indication that the studios are and the theaters are desperate for anything that people will go see. So they've had to rely on foreign distributions because, you know, the studios are trying to pursue this international box office. But what it's doing, they're abandoning the domestic box office. So for domestic box office, the number one thing we're missing are comedies. Now, I get that they don't make a lot of comedies, but they should make some comedies because we need comedies. And those comedies can do well here. Now, they won't do well overseas, so you shouldn't spend a lot of money on them, but you don't have to spend a lot of money on a comedy. You could spend $5 million on a comedy. You just have to shoot the damn thing and have funny people in it. But they're just not doing that. Ardent at Don the Second. Let me know if you need more. Tag me somewhere else besides the stream. I'll fill in the chat with suggestions. JC, Hateful Eight was just ugly and hateful. Tarantino's id gone wild. ID gone wild. Or you mean gone wild? I really didn't need to see Samuel L. Jackson do something to a guy. Yeah, I just tuned out. I don't even remember that scene, but Channing Tatum is so wildly miscast in that movie. I don't know why he was in it. He doesn't come across as good at all or believable to me. The only one who's great in Hateful Eight is Kurt Russell. He's awesome in it. But Samuel L. Jackson's doing his same old Samuel L. Jackson stuff. And I'm just so sick of it. And by Hateful Eight, I was really sick of it. Ardent, do you think slapstick comedy would be inoffensive enough to be popular? Slapstick doesn't really sell to American audiences. Not really. But then again, no one's done one in so long. Maybe you could do one as a novelty and it might work. If it was you know, family friendly, and you could sell it to all audiences, it might be okay. It might do okay. It would depend on the story. You know, if you did some, without doing a remake of the Three Stooges, but you had characters that were sort of like the Three Stooges, something like that. But it would have to have a really cool hook, like, I don't know, really good stunts, or, you know, someone like Jackie Chan who could do very athletic, sort of slapsticky things. Don the Second, is it hard to make people laugh? Yes. Yes, it's actually the hardest thing to do, which is why they've gotten away from it. But I think the most reason that they've gotten away from it is that they just don't want to deal with the backlash. Now, that's mostly gone away. I think at this point, people are so thirsty for a comedy, most people would be willing to ignore, you know, the nonsense of the woke at this point. I think people are ready to ignore it, so I think we're ready for a comedy. But so far, that just really hasn't happened. Ardent, Buster Keaton, Chaplin style? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it would have to be. It would have to be a not like the old school guys, but something that was new, but kind of like that. I'm not sure what it would be. It would be like a new take on that. You know, someone like a younger guy who was very athletic, who could do these crazy stunts. So, for instance, Harold Lloyd, who was from that era, did this amazing stunt. And he was from an old school stuntman era. This is like the silent era. So, what Harold Lloyd did before he did this stunt that I'm going to describe was one time for a promotional, I think it was a promotional picture, he dressed up as a strongman and held a bomb. And when I mean bomb, it was a cartoon bomb, like that big giant round black ball with a giant fuse coming out on top, and he held it like this for a promotion, and the fuse was lit. Now it turns out it was a real bomb. For some reason, they thought for the picture or whatever the hell they were doing. I'm not sure what it was for actually, but he held it, and he held it too long, and it went off and blew off part of his hand. So he was missing, I guess on his right hand, he was missing 3 of his fingers. But he was super athletic, and he did this stunt on where he climbed up this building. Okay, so and you could see this movie. It's the famous Harold Lloyd movie with the clock tower. So he's climbing up the building. There's no, cushions on the ground. You know, these days the stuntmen have air mattresses and all this safety equipment, probably a harness. Harold Lloyd had none of that. And he was missing 3 fingers on one hand. So he free climbs up the side of the building using it just had bricks that had like enough space that he could put his fingers. And he climbs straight up the building, and they film it for this scene. Now, part of the gag was he's trying to get back on the roof of the building. So at some point, somebody throws him a rope. And so the bit is Harold Lloyd is holding onto the rope, and they're finally pulling him up, and he's finally going to get back on top of the roof. So as they pull him up, and they're filming this, and there's nothing underneath this guy. They're filming this, and they get to the lip of the ledge at the top of the building, and it stops. Now he had a prosthesis for his 3 fingers to make it look like he had all his fingers. So he's holding 2 hands on this rope, this very thick cartoony rope for a silent movie era. And he gets, and I'm describing this because it's an amazing stunt. So he gets to the lip of the ledge, and as he gets there, his finger gets stuck underneath the ledge, but his character doesn't see it, and he continues to talk to the heroine, even though it's a silent movie and there's no sound. And as he's talking to her, they're continuing to pull up the rope, but it's going through his hands. So it goes through his hands, and they pull up the rope, and it comes all the way up and out of Harold Lloyd's hands. And the moment that happens, he grabs onto the side of the building and saves himself. Now, there's nothing underneath. Like, if he had not grabbed that side of the building, he would have fell to his death onto a cement sidewalk. But he grabs the side of the building, and then he eventually climbs up. So you should see that movie if you haven't. It's a silent movie, but it's crazy. You probably see it online on YouTube. Anyhow, I had to tell you that story. Don the Second. Thanks, Ardent. Anytime, amigo. JC, Hateful Eight movie that built to a plot twist that sucked. Yeah, I thought it was dumb. LeMay, if Solo Leveling got a movie deal, I'm surprised Lore Olympus does not have one yet. It's just 50 Shades with Greek gods. You mean 50 Shades of Grey with Greek gods? That's weird. Ardent. Oh, I have to recommend Sho Kusugi's ninja movies. Now I swear I'm done. JC, you need the right guy to do slapstick. Jim Carrey was basically slapstick in his first few movies. Yeah. Yeah, like someone like him. But younger. He has to be young. Don the Second, Drunken Fist, LOL. That's a good one. Ardent at JC, yeah, The Mask was essentially a slapstick superhero. Ardent, the silent era when stuntmen had to dodge actual bullets. That is true. Ardent, LOL, reminding me of the Batman movie from the 60s. Don the Second, what the F? Yeah. JC, he wore a glove on his hand to hide his missing fingers. Yep. Ardent, Don the Second, yeah, old Hollywood was freaking wild. JC, it was called Safety Last. They built a clock tower on top of another rooftop to sell that they were high up. Don the Second, what the heck, man? 1900 MFers are crazy. Yes. JC, there's a Harold Lloyd documentary on YouTube, and they explain how they did that stunt. It's a freaking crazy stunt, dude. The other crazy stunt, of course, is Buster Keaton. It's a pretty famous, you may have seen it, where the front of the house collapses and Buster is standing in a perfect position, so when the house collapses, he's standing where the window is, so he doesn't get flattened by the front of the house. And so his head and body is where the window lands, so when the front of the house of this house falls, he's fine. Buster Keaton did that stunt, and it was an actual facade that would have crushed him had he not been standing in the exact perfect spot. And if you watch the clip, he's got to like time it perfectly, and he does. He also did a stunt, and he actually screwed this up, I think 3 times before he got it right, where he's driving a motorcycle, and there's 2 railroad cars, and the railroad cars cross like this. He drives across them, and they keep going. And it's timed. And I think he did it 3 times, and the first 2 times he fell off. He either fell off the motorcycle or fell off the trains as he's driving across them, and somehow didn't get run over by a train. But the 3rd time he got it right, and it's very impressive if you know it. But like if you watch the clip, he just goes over it, and you think, oh well, that was quick. But no, he's driving over 2 actual trains going in opposite directions. JC, there's a Harold Lloyd documentary on YouTube that explained how they did that. Oh, I read that. Don the Second, I'm pretty sure since you guys didn't have internet back then that you guys just did crazy stuff. LOL. That is partly true. Yeah, that is partly true. I mean, we got bored in the 80s, and we'd just be out like, you know, I'm Generation X, so it is true. Our parents would just say, come back when it's dark. And we'd be out all day. And we'd have nothing to do. Because the only thing to do would be to come home and try to watch TV if there was anything on TV. And half the time your parents were like, get out of the house, go do something. So we would like ride our bikes everywhere. And when we got bored of that, we would just walk in the woods and just find stuff in the woods and see what was in the woods. You know, sometimes we'd play sports or whatever, but a lot of times we'd just walk, explore areas. Probably areas we shouldn't have been in. Like one time, me and my friends found this creek, and it was bright orange, and I think it was full of chemicals, but we're not sure. At some point, though, somebody dropped something in it. I forget what we dropped. I want to say like a baseball or something stupid like that. And I don't know. I don't think it was me. I think somebody else decided they really wanted the baseball back and stuck their arm in this bright orange creek, like all the way up past his elbow to get the ball back, and then pulled his arm out and was just covered in this stuff. And I was like, oh man. Yeah, I went fishing one time in this creek that was also pretty polluted, and I had a fish, but my line got stuck, and I waded out into the creek with bare feet and shorts to try to get my hook undone. And I shouldn't have done. Looking back on that, I would never do that. I would never do that. Now, knowing what I know about that creek, I would never do it. Even though now it's clean, I wouldn't go in it. But back then, I was just like, oh, I got to get my line. JC, Buster Keaton's stunts were legit insane. Harold Lloyd's were done safer, but they marketed them as more dangerous. They were all pretty insane, if you ask me. Ardent, Gen X isn't tough for nothing. Cancer or superpowers? That was our motto. Cancer or superpowers? That's right. Don the Second, I went out and did that stuff as a kid too, but y'all just didn't care back then. Yeah, I mean, we did this one thing. One time, me and my friends, I was about 12, I guess. I was about to go with my family to something for my relatives, and I was dressed nice. Don the Second, turning into the toxic adventure from a creek is insane. So anyway, I was dressed nice, and but I had like a half hour to kill, and my friends came over on their bikes, and they're like, "Do you want to go over to this thing we're doing?" And I said, "Sure." So I went with them, and they had decided they were going to walk up these railroad ties. And what they had done, they were building this apartment complex, and they cut the hill in half, and they used railroad ties to keep the dirt from, washing down and crushing the apartment complex. But it was brand new, and they were still building it, so we weren't supposed to play on it. But my friends and I decided we wanted to climb it, so we climbed straight up the damn thing, and got to the top, and I don't know, some foreman or something got mad. He was a big fat guy, and he decided to come up around the side that you could walk to get us and basically throw us out of there. So we didn't want to get caught by him. So we went to the other end, and the only way to get down, besides climbing down the railroad ties, which would have taken too long because the fat guy was coming, there was this tree root that was left as part of the construction when the hill got cut in half. So my friends started to shimmy down this tree root, and it was about, I'm going to say the drop was a good 20 feet, and the bottom was this puddle, but since there was so much construction, it was just this beige mud puddle. And so they were going down the route, and when they would get to the bottom, they would kind of swing to the left or right and avoid the puddle. Well, I was the last one to go down, and I was a big kid. So I decided, and the fat guy was coming, and I decided I had to go faster. So instead of just climbing down, I jumped down, grabbed the root, but my weight snapped it, and I went down, straight down 20 feet, landed in the puddle, sank up to about, I'm going to say about my knees. Mud went everywhere. I mean, I was just covered in mud, this beige colored mud. And then I climbed out of that. We ran to our bikes. The fat guy was way up on the hill yelling at us. And then I went back home just as my family was getting ready to leave. And my mother was like, she wanted to kill me. Ardent, LOL, cancer and superpowers. Don the Second, 20 foot is wild, bro. It was for me being 12, but it didn't really register, Plus, I landed in mud, so I was okay. But man, I was wrecked. I had to go right in the shower. I had to shower everything. My mother just said, go into the shower with your clothes on because you have so much mud on you. You have to wash the mud off from your clothes. And I'm like, okay. Anyhow, next up is Y2K. Now, this movie, I actually kind of want to see. Don the Second, laughing. Ardent, average Gen X youth story. Don the Second, cancer plus superpowers equals Deadpool. That's true. So this Y2K movie actually is... Rachel Zegler's in this movie. It actually looks good. It's a comedy movie. Again, might have to explain this too. So Y2K, in the year 2000, there was a rumor that when all the computers switched to the year 2000, they wouldn't work anymore. And we would have no internet. planes would fall out of the sky, and it was basically the end of civilization. Like the rumor was that somehow every mechanical device that had ever been built had some sort of timer in it that was keeping the year, 1998, 1999. But when it got to 2000, it wouldn't be able to roll over to 2000, and therefore it would just jam and it would just die. Like, that was the basic premise of Y2K, the rumor. And if you watch that episode of Family Guy, you could see the episode where, like, the world ends and it's Y2K. Ardent, LOL, Y2K fears were crazy. Don the Second, it's crazy that the internet was that pivotal for y'all back then. Yeah, because, it was kind of a joke. It wasn't totally, it was still at the era where people like, oh, I'm not into the internet. Like, people talk that way. I was working jobs in like 99 and 2000 at like offices where they were transferring from paper to computer, and they were still antsy about it because of Y2K. And a lot of offices were like, we're going to wait until after Y2K to make sure we don't have to do this all again, because they wanted paper backups in case they lost everything at Y2K. JC, the computer switching from 99 to 00 would break it was the theory. Yeah. But there was also a theory that like every computer, every car that even remotely had anything digital would also break, even though those cars and a lot of the digital stuff didn't have a computer in it. Ardent, the flaw was related to the flaw with computer clocks. They would somehow roll over to 1900 and shut down. Yeah. So this movie takes place on Y2K, and the premise of the movie is, I guess, that it's real, and so everything shuts down, and a bunch of people die, and then the hero of the movie has to save the girl of his dreams, kind of thing. It actually looks kind of amusing, so I might check it out. But Rachel Zegler is in it, so be warned. She's actually playing a role that she looks appropriate for, just some annoying hot chick. Well, I should say mid chick, but she's the hot chick in this one. Ardent, yeah, I still remember my first web search before Google existed. Yeah, I remember those. Jeeves, you would ask Jeeves. Or you would just say to Yahoo, take me to a random website, and something amusing would pop up. Because most people didn't have websites. Most companies didn't have websites yet. So it would just be some guy in Texas who had a website about doorknobs because he had a website, knew how to build them, and then that was it. Ardent, warm chick, LOL. Yeah, I would go see this movie. I mean, it's a comedy, so there's that. 2.1 million. LeMay, wow, I'm old enough to remember that. Oh, there you go. JC, Zegler works as a cute girl next door. I think that's what they're going for. She also has better makeup, so she looks better in it. Ardent, I didn't ask Jeeves a thing. I loved Metacrawler, though. So, yeah, I think it's definitely worth streaming it, maybe. But nobody's going to see it in the theaters, really, although kinda, because it made 2.1 million. So that's not the worst ever, except I don't know what it cost. I mean, I'm sure it's a low budget affair, but it can't be that low. So this thing might crack 4 million, maybe, but it's kind of a shame, really, because again, we need more comedies, and that ain't gonna do it. Don the Second, my memories are still forming. LOL. And these movies all premiered this weekend. So back in the 90s, a movie like Y2K probably, well, yeah, you still could have had that movie. A movie like Y2K probably would have been in the top 5. I mean, It's in the top 10 though, which isn't bad, but it would have made more money. Ardent, currently having flashbacks to the bing, de ding, de bong, dial-up noises. Oh yeah, I remember those. Next up is For King and Country, a Drummer Boy Christmas from Fathom Events. It made $2 million. It's also crazy as well because it's only in 1,500 theaters. Fathom Events stuff is doing okay. They're doing a lot of religious movies through Fathom. Do they have a budget here? I bet this movie costs nothing. This movie could cost maybe a couple of mil. I don't know. I don't think there's any name actors in it. So, the Fathom Events movies are movies that Hollywood should be making. They're movies that they know people are going to see, and they make them for under a budget that they know they make money. So, is that Angel Studios? Maybe it is. I don't think so. Who made this? Source, based on real life events. Oh, it's a concert performance. Oh, so never mind. That's a different thing. But Fathom Events does that. But that's a pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, $2 million. You know, and this is for an event thing or movie or whatever you want to call it. It's not really a movie. It's got very limited playing. I mean, it's not playing 4 or 5 times a day every day throughout the week and including the weekends. This probably is only playing at certain times, maybe once a day or like 3 or 4 times a week. So that's pretty good money for that. I don't really understand how Fathom Events work. I suspect that they're renting the theater space from AMC and the other theater chains, and that's how they're doing it. Which is an interesting way to do it, and it makes sense for both parties. I mean, Fathom can make money, and the theaters have something to offer that isn't the same old crap. I don't think they would even be doing this if they weren't in such dire straits in the studios. Number 10, the best Christmas pageant ever, dropping from 5 to 10 from Lionsgate. It's in its 5th week though, and it's still doing 1.5 million. This is the Judy Greer movie. See, this is doing okay for a domestic box office. 34 million. That's not bad for a Christmas comedy. And I would suggest there's no way this thing costs 34 million. Probably cost under 10, I would guess. I mean, Judy Greer is kind of a name. But the rest of them are mostly kids. I don't think there were any other big names in it. So that's the way to make movies. They should be releasing, movies like The Best Christmas Ever, Best Christmas Pageant Ever. They should be releasing a bunch of these movies every month. Like 10 to 15 of them. Instead of releasing these giant tentpole movies that sometimes totally tank, why not release a dozen of these movies? Because they're going for that $1 billion. And that's thus the problem with modern movies today. Here you got Werewolves. This is Frank Grillo. It's premiering at 1.1 million. It's in a third of the amount of theaters that Moana is in. It's basically a B movie from what I've seen of it. I don't know if it can make its money back because 1.1 million probably not enough to cover. I mean, Frank Grillo isn't the biggest star in the world, but he's got a bit of a draw. But it's a werewolf movie, so there's going to be a lot of effects. It's also a werewolf military action movie, so there's going to be a lot of guns. There's no way this thing cost $1 million, but maybe it breaks even. I don't know. Ardent, Dog Soldiers at Dawn the Second. Yeah, that's another movie. It's very similar to that, it looks to me. Also, The Howling. I think it's The Howling 2 that gets very much like Dog Soldiers. Or the third one. It's also a weird time to release werewolves. If they had released this at Halloween, maybe it would have done better. So I don't know why they're releasing it now. Next up is The Order. These are all brand new movies, so at least they're releasing stuff. But The Order is Jude Law. Takes place like in the 70s. Jude Law fighting the white supremacist, and Nicholas Hoult, I think, is one of them. And that did $878,000. Jude Law cannot open a movie, is what it boils down to. Ardent, like Nosferatu for Christmas, just weird. Yeah, it's totally... This movie, too, is not exactly something you want to see during Christmas. Some sheriff in the 70s fighting white supremacist. Why even make this movie? This is so dated. They made a gazillion of these movies. So I don't know what new thing you're going to bring to this. It doesn't even seem like Oscar bait. So what? Why make this? Is it more money laundering? What is this? Law frees a night at the Symphony Hollywood Bowl, Trafalgar. Well, this I would immediately assume would be Fathom Events, but apparently there's another company licensing theaters to put on events. Alex Ogle is here. Right, you degenerates. Movie pitch. Call Me Father Christmas. A certain well-known New Jersey ghost story researcher plays the eponymous character delivering presents to a house and is interrupted by Sydney Sweeney in a bikini who sits on his lap and tries to desperately move her name from the naughty to the nice list. She keeps referring to him as Santa, and he replies, "No, call me Father Christmas." I like it. Let's do it. Let's start a Kickstarter and raise the money. Ardent, LOL, Alex. I mean, if Sydney Sweeney's going to do a boxing movie, why won't she do a movie where she struts around in a bikini? Be a lot easier. So yeah, I mean, it's not even a movie, really. All the way down here, somewhere around 12, Venom: The Last Dance. $675,000 finally going out of theaters. I mean, this is the best Venom movie ever, thanks to China mostly. Not exactly sure what the Chinese saw in this movie, but there you go, $472 million. Again, we need to see Spider-Man fight Tom Hardy, but I don't know if we're going to get to see it. Also new, RM, Right People, Wrong Place. That's weird. Weird title. Oh, this looks like a foreign movie. God, that is the worst movie poster I've ever seen. That is a terrible, terrible movie poster. Right People, Wrong Place. Not sure what country this is from. About $598,000. Let me see if I can find this one. I bet it's not even on the IMDb. Oh, here it is. a candid documentary that delves into the life of BTS leader RM as he navigates global stardom, working on his second solo album, offering an intimate glimpse into his creative journey across multiple cities. Well, that sounds terrible. Alex Ogle. I never understood this Venom character. What's his motive? Well, it should be to kill Spider-Man. But since Sony decided in their infinite wisdom not to introduce Spider-Man into the same universe as Venom yet, his motivation is kind of, he's an investigative reporter, Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy's character, and his motivation is to sort of be a superhero and sort of survive. But he was always a flawed character and a Spider-Man villain, so he can't really be a Spider-Man villain without Spider-Man. And really, the only reason he's a reporter is because it was important to the initial creation of the character that Eddie Brock be near Peter Parker and go crazy because what happens is Peter Parker, in the original comic book version, finds the Venom symbiote. Only it's not, he doesn't understand it as a symbiote at first. It's his costume. And he uses it a great deal at first, and it's great because he doesn't need the old costume. But then the symbiote tries to take him over and bond with him permanently, and he doesn't like that. Venom's only weakness is sonic noise and vibrations. So there's a scene in which Peter Parker manages to get himself up into a bell tower where he rings the bell and stays up there until Venom literally melts off his body because he can't take the noise. Ding, ding, ding. So Peter kills the symbiote, we think, but later they bring it back, and the story is Eddie Brock, who doesn't like Peter Parker, and I think by that time he lost his job because of Peter Parker. He's working out in that very same church basement where the clock tower is, and the symbiote drips down and eventually drips on him and finds a new home with Eddie. And then he knows who Peter Parker is, so he goes after him. And so it's Venom versus Spider-Man. But Venom became so insanely popular, they kept bringing him back, and eventually they decided, well, we got to make him a good guy so he can have his own comic. So they called him Venom the Lethal Protector, and they moved him out to San Francisco to be his own man, his own character, somehow forgetting that he had murdered many people. And then in order to make Eddie look better by comparison, they eventually created Carnage and all the other symbiotes that are 10 times worse than Eddie. And then Eddie became sort of the de facto good guy amongst even worse guys. Very strange. Alex Ogle, that looks like an Asian movie at the poster. They love that simple nonsense. It looks like clippings from a diary. I guess. Looks terrible to me. Ardent, Eddie Brock was Catholic and praying in the church when the bell tower... Oh, he was... that's what he was doing? Okay. When the Venom fell on him. Okay, so he was like praying for help, I guess, to kill Peter Parker. Ardent, would have been interesting twist, maybe good what-if story if Daredevil had been there instead. Sure. Yeah, so Venom, you know, he can kind of be his own character, but it kind of doesn't work for me. LeMay, BTS is a Korean boy band. Oh. Not sure why they're playing this in the States on so many screens, but I guess there's enough of an audience for BTS here. After that is Bonhoeffer, Pastor Spy Assassin from Angel Studios. Made $500,000 or so. It's doing okay, around 11 million. Do we have a budget on this? No. It could be less than 11 million. It's possible to do a fairly cheap, great war movie if you really cut back and don't do a lot of explosions. Ardent. BTS is bigger than the boy bands here from here ever were. Okay. Next is Flow. I think we saw this. Oh yeah, this is a animated movie. I forget what country it's from. It looks like, is that French? Looks French. So about a cat. Did $500,000. Next up in its second week is Queer. Now it's up because last week I think they only dropped it in like 2 theaters or something. They're trying to create some buzz on this. I don't think it's possible. I just don't think there's a big enough audience for a movie like this. So it's too obscure. It's definitely going to be an art house movie. I mean, you might be able to make it a relatively successful art house movie, but Daniel Craig's in it. And it looks like they spent some money on it, so I don't think it can make its budget back. I mean, right now it's at $866,000. So, and I can't imagine they shot it for less than that, so. Yeah, there's no budget here. Yeah, last week it only opened in 7 theaters, so I don't know what they're going to do with this. I think it's Oscar bait mostly. I think they're going to throw at least one Oscar to someone, possibly Daniel Craig. But we'll see. I think at the very least he'll get a nomination. But they'll probably throw the Oscars to some of the characters in Wicked, because now they're talking about that already since the movie's so insanely popular. Alex Ogle, is BTS one of those factory bands where they have more members that are on screen at once so they can swap them out for performance? I don't know. Maybe. Next up is The Return, premiering from Bleecker Street. I think I saw the trailer for this. What the heck is it? Oh yeah. This is the Odysseus movie where Ray Fiennes as Odysseus. This doesn't look bad, but again, it's more of an art house movie. It's only in 629 theaters, but $354,000. That's kind of low. That doesn't bode well. But it is a bit of an art house movie. Because, I mean, you got to know about Odysseus to really kind of appreciate it. I mean, I guess you could say it's a classic story, but I don't know if these are theater movies anymore, because I don't know if the audience is there, you know? I guess it could have been for the art house crowd, but they don't look like they're coming out for it. Next up is a Real Pain, dropping from 10 to about 20. $291,000 going out of theaters. This is definitely art house stuff. This is Macaulay Culkin's brother and Jesse Eisenberg as 2 cousins, retracing their grandmother's journey during the Great War, where she was detained by bad guys from Germany, I'll say, Trying not to blow up in the algorithm here. After that is Heretic. This is the Hugh Grant horror movie, dropping from 8 all the way to down here like 21. Alex Ogle, I have mixed feelings about films with Ralph Fiennes. If he plays great roles, but he gets them. He plays great roles, but then gets involved with some woke crap like Conclave. Still, he was good in that cooking movie and that hotel one too. Yeah, I don't really get him either. Conclave, which is the next movie on the list, did $210,000. Hollywood should just stay away from religious movies at this point, because now you have outfits like Angel Studios. I think they're better equipped to handle that. They should outsource it to production houses like that, because what are you going to do? Why hire a bunch of atheists to do a religious movie? Why? Everybody in Hollywood hates religion except Chris Pratt. How are you going to do these movies? And Mel Gibson. How are you going to do these movies? You can't. You have no credibility doing these movies. None. Zero. And there's too many people, I think, now that have opened their eyes about Hollywood, especially Disney, and they're just like, I don't want to support you, no matter what you do. I mean, I've been that way about Disney a long time. There's a lot of people now jumping on that train because of Disney's various shenanigans, but I have personal reasons for hating Disney. But now people are they are so done with Disney. So Disney could be as based as F tomorrow, and I don't think the audience would come back right away. It would take them years to win them back. But yeah, I don't know. He may be just sort of figuring like, well, this is my career. I've got to do one of these woke crap movies to get other roles. Back in the day, and this was parodied in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So there's a scene in it where there's a parody movie of that Matt Damon movie. Oh, what the hell is it called? The real famous one with Robin Williams. What the hell? Matt Damon. Good Will Hunting. That's it. So there's a parody in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back and Good Will Hunting, and they're shooting Good Will Hunting 2. Thank you, Ardent. And you know, they get into an argument. Some of the celebrities, Matt Damon and some other guys, get into a fight, and they're talking about the movies they do. And one of the rules in Hollywood was, you had to do the big studio picture in order to get to do the little movies you wanted to do. So, for instance, if there was a big tentpole movie, like, something from, the only thing I could think of off the top of my head would be like Terminator 2, but that's not really a tentpole movie, but a big blockbuster movie, The Last Action Hero, something like that. If you were an actor like Ray Fiennes, you would agree to be in it, say as the villain, knowing that it was all popcorn trash, to get to be in the critically acclaimed movies. So you do the big blockbuster movie in order to make the studio money, so they can afford to do the little dinky movies that go into art houses that don't really make them a lot of money. Alex Ogle, The Menu and Grand Budapest Hotel were the titles I couldn't recall. What do you think about the forthcoming 28 years later? I suspect it will be crap, but I hope not. I suspect it will be crap. I mean, 28 days later is okay. It didn't blow me away. I'm a big zombie guy, so I have a super high bar when it comes to zombies. Um, so I don't know. It just feels like it feels like yet another money grab. So I don't have any. Oh my God! I just saw something coming up here. I'm very excited about. Um, I don't. I don't really care about that movie as much as a lot of other people, but Ray Fiennes, though, yeah, I mean, he might have seen instead of now the blockbuster movie being the movie you have to do. Now, because of ESG, the studio might be saying, "Well, you got to do our woke movie, and then you get to do some other non-woke crap that we don't care about." Because the studio only seems to care about the woke crap now. Um, that's what I suspect. I don't have any proof, but yeah, because you couldn't sell a movie like Conclave without guys like Ray Fiennes and Stanley Tucci. Although Stanley Tucci has lost a lot of credibility too for some of his choices. So I think Ray Fiennes is starting to lose his credibility. Next up, I had no idea this was coming out. Trailer Park Boys presents Standing on... What is this? Standing on the Shoulders of Kitties. Oh, is a Trailer Park Boys movie out? Well, fantastic. Oh, I totally want to see this. I love Trailer Park Boys. Why didn't somebody tell me this was coming out? Well, this will never be in a theater near me, but I'm sure it's all over Canada because these guys are Canadian. It's only in 285 theaters, and I promise you it's a comedy. So that's good news. I will 100% watch this the moment it hits any streaming platform. If it does hit a theater near me, I'll go see it, but I don't think it'll make it to New Jersey. Any place that I'll go. So, if you haven't seen Trailer Park Boys, Alex Ogle, Trailer Park Boys, Canada's finest export. Yes. If you haven't seen it, you really, really should. Last time I checked, Trailer Park Boys was on Netflix, like the entire run of the show and all the extras. Ardent, I'm not much of for Trailer Park Boys, honestly, and they're from the province next door. Oh, really? I'm shocked to hear that, Ardent. Alex Ogle, Trailer Park Boys, yes. Yes. And I really like their animated show. I thought they were going to continue with the animated show. They kind of did that to give one of the cast members died who was so brilliant on the show. And I think they kind of did that to give his character a proper send-off. Alex Ogle at Ardent, too close to home for you, you hoser. Indie Phantom is here. Forgot to stream and passed out. Here now. Speaking of it, Trailer Park Boys, welcome. Ardent says low. No worries, IP. No worries. Did you know about the trailer? What are your thoughts on Trailer Park Boys, Indie Phantom? Are you a big fan? Because apparently they have a new movie. Alex Ogle at Indie Fandom passed out? Oh, perhaps he's ill. I vaguely remember somebody being ill last week. Was that? I think that was Kite though. Ardent at Alex Ogle. LOL, nah. I know too many guys like them in real life. Oh. Interesting. Yeah, I'm 100%. This is the best movie of the week. I'll call it here. I'll just blindly call it the best movie. I mean, it's the only thing I want to see. I want to see Y2K, but not as badly as I want to see Trailer Park Boys. Although they really need to, the guys who do that show, I wish they could get a new show so they could create new characters because they're running out of roadway. I mean, Trailer Park Boys have been around for a long time, but I get why they keep going back to it. Next up, Anora. Again, the romance with the chick who said no to the. I don't know if she said no, but she said the intimacy coordinators were stupid. Looks like a good flick. It's getting some amount of buzz, but it didn't look like it made any money. For some reason, 25 million? Maybe. For some reason, though, her male co-star is getting a big, getting a lot of press and variety, but she didn't really get much. Alex, Tony, I hope you're not farting up a storm again. I am a little. Indie Phantom. Yeah, Trailer Park is okay. I knew the actor who played Leahy, but didn't watch much beyond the first couple of years. Oh. Next up, The Wild Robot, 117,000. That's going out of theaters. Getaway also premiered at $101,000 in 474 theaters. That doesn't sound good. Oh, this is a Nick Frost movie. This looked okay-ish. This could be funny. This could be a return to form for Nick Frost. It's more along the lines of Shaun of the Dead. But I guess he just doesn't have the draw that his former screen partner, Nick Simon Pegg, has. I'm not sure how they could have figured out a way for him to be in it, but Indie Phantom, it would be cool if she had an intimacy coordinator but just said they sucked. Be cool if she had an intimacy coordinator but just said they sucked. There's a joke in there somewhere that's missing me. Next up, Smile 2, $73,000 going out of theaters. All We Might Imagine Is Light, $39,000 going out of theaters, it looks like. Premiering at, way at the bottom, Oh Canada, 3 theaters. Sounds like a documentary. No. Aging filmmaker Leonard Fife is still fiery despite his battle with illness, wants to tell his life story unfiltered before it's too late. As the director of acclaimed documentary expose, he has much to be proud of, but his Vietnam War draft dodging, and his past relationships harbor thorny truths. This is Richard Gere's movie. Yeah, I saw the trailer for this. It looks depressing, I'll say. Ardent. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg kind of need to work together to produce their best work. Loved, Paul. Really? Is that worth saying? I didn't see that one. I skipped that one. Alex Ogle. Possible movie pitch. Remake of Strange Brew. Obviously Sydney Sweeney to play the daughter of the brewery owner. But who to take on the roles of Bob and Doug McKenzie? Well, I mean, ideally you would want 2 Canadian guys. I mean, that would be something Hollywood would do, back in the day. If Strange Brew they felt was a big enough IP, they could remake it with the Trailer Park Boy guys. Yeah, they could totally make it with Ricky and Julian. I mean, that would be the way to do it. They would have to change their look, but that would work. Or, if not with those two, there's 2 other guys in Trailer Park Boys that would be good for it, I think. Indie Phantom. Nick Frost was in Crazy House lately, which was a comedy done in the style of 90s sitcom of NBK with Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that and I kind of hated it. It reminded me of sort of a mega or a meta humor kind of thing. I can't get into it. I didn't find it funny. I don't think it's right for a full-length movie. Maybe for a short movie. Like, I like Too Many Cooks, which is very meta. Dick Masterson is here? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, he's certainly here. Hollywood Jays, I'll say. So I don't get banned from YouTube, Dick. Just want to move more children to do horrible things to and anti-white plot lines. Well, thanks for stopping by, Dick. um, Indie Phantom. Friends said it was awesome. I mean, I could see it being awesome. Like if I was 20 again, I think a movie like that would be awesome to me. These days, I look at it and kind of go, it's sort of been done. Ardent, I'd expect a remake of Canadian Bacon first. LOL. Yeah, I don't think so. All right. What else we got here? We Live in Time. That's the Andrew Garfield thing. Um, that's made 28,000. The Seed of the Sacred Fig. I forget what that. I think that was an Iranian movie at 25K. The End from Neon. Man, a lot of movies dropped this week. They're not doing much business though. I have no idea what this is about. 25 years after an environmental collapse left the Earth uninhabitable, mother, father, son are confined to their palatial bunker. Oh, I did see this. Now I remember it. So, yeah, it does not look good. And it looks like it has a message that they're going to beat you over the head with. Ardent, don't hold back, Dick. Tell us how you really feel. And finally, The Girl with the Needle. I have no idea what this is. Girl with the Needle. No summary whatsoever. All right. Oh, this is some kind of foreign flick. All right. Just look it up real quick. The Girl with the Needle. And I think it's a sewing needle, not a drug needle. Copenhagen, 1919. A young worker finds herself unemployed and pregnant. She meets Dagmar, who runs an underground adoption agency. A strong connection grows, but her world shatters when she stumbles on the shocking truth behind her work. That sounds incredibly depressing, but I mean, this is art house. It's black and white. It takes place in Copenhagen in 1919. So you'd expect that. You'd expect that. Indie Phantom. Canadian Bacon sent Michael Moore back to the minors. Kind of where he belongs. I mean, Canadian Bacon, I mean, Michael Moore, I don't know what happened to him. You know, he was kind of a populist when he first started. I liked the Roger and Me and a couple others. But he slowly got less and less. He just got stuck in his politics, really. He's stuck on the Democratic side. He can't come out of it. And he's doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down. I mean, this last election, I thought maybe he might finally say, you know what? The Democrats are a bunch of idiots and I'm not going to support them anymore. Nope. He just hates Trump. Ardent. Seamstress movie? Yes. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so a grand total of 126 million. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, that's better than 3 weeks ago when it was in the toilet. Not as good as last week when it was 200 million, but again, we're riding on the 3 movies from last week, and everything else is barely contributing. Indie Phantom, more is a joke now. Yeah, I thought he really missed the boat on Sicko. That one I was like, and the one right before that where he did one about, oh gosh, he was so close to calling out the Federal Reserve and he just sort of stops. I forget that one. Alex, Girl with the Needle sounds like the latest installment of oppression porn as cooked up by The Handmaid's Tale. Utter nonsense. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even tell you what it's about. I mean, other than the stuff I read. Ardent, when he did that hit piece on praising Cuba, he lost any respect I might had for more. Yeah, it just was insane. Like, you know, Cuba has better healthcare. Okay, Michael. You're telling me the country that has to keep refixing cars from the 50s just to have cars, you know, oh, they can get great medicine and top-notch healthcare? No, that on its surface just sounded stupid. I'll tell you what Cuba does have. Has good zombie movies. I highly recommend Juan of the Dead if you want to see a Cuban horror movie. It's kind of cool because you get to see a glimpse into life in Cuba in the horror movie, which is kind of fun. JC, he was simping for Cuba healthcare. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, he really was. It was kind of, you're watching it going, come on, man. Yeah, so after that, it just, ardent. People fleeing in plastic rafts from great healthcare. Pull the other one, Mikey. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. You don't float on a door to Florida if you're okay with the healthcare system, because when you think about it, look, there's a lot of people that can put up with a lot of things, right? You can put up, a lot of people in this world put up with oppression from their governments. A lot of people will put up with high taxes. If you're relatively comfortable, and healthcare is a big part of that, so if you have healthcare, your basic needs are just food and shelter, and if you've got those two things, even if they're not that great, but they're stable, you can endure a lot, right? Like if you knew 100% you had pretty decent healthcare, or as decent as Michael portrayed it, even though you weren't going to ever get rich, but you would be able to eat and have some place to sleep every night, you'd probably be like mostly okay, at least okay enough that when the opportunity came to float on a door to Miami, you'd be like, I don't want to do that. I'm okay. I mean, it's not great here, but I'm not dying. There's only one reason you float on a door to Miami, and that is you have a terrible life. It's not just to be like, oh, I don't make enough money. It's like, this really sucks. And it's communism, so they're throwing people in a gulag. You just don't hear about it. Ardent, LOL, Canada's getting as bad as Cuba from that movie now, and I'm depressed. I missed one. Indie Phantom, Moore had a hilarious week on YT before the election. Don't think he has returned off the blue sky exile. Yeah, I mean, it just has no credibility left. I mean, look, it was one thing in 2016. I mean, in 2016, I didn't vote for Trump. I thought, well, come on. I didn't think he would be the worst guy to be president. I just thought he'll bankrupt the country. That was my first thought. Like, oh, Trump's running? Oh, he'll bankrupt the country. The only question was, would Hillary bankrupt the country and get us in a nuclear war? Yes, I thought. Trump, he'd probably just bankrupt the country. I don't know about the nuclear war part. And so I voted for Gary Johnson, hoping. But yeah, it turned out he's pretty good at being president. Like, actually, really good. So, after that, I really, really was just like, oh, come on. You call the guy Orange, a bad guy from Germany. I can't say it. For 4 years, after he makes the economy sing, no, sorry. Ardent, I figured Trump would be a lesser Reagan, another celebrity. Yeah, at best. You know? I mean, I didn't think he would blow us up, but I definitely wasn't expecting the amazing. I mean, he was so good at it. I mean, like, you're talking about a guy who got the Abraham Accords. That was a big win. A huge win. No one, and I mean no one in modern history, since pretty much the creation of Israel, has ever moved that peace process forward in any good way for any period of time. Carter almost did. I mean, there was rumblings that certain things might happen, but nothing really came of it. Trump had real progress. So, why would you look at that and go, well, there's a guy who will destroy democracy? I mean, it's insane. And he used those. I believe he used those words too. Like he used the party line over and over again. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like, it's one thing to say, oh well, I really hate Trump. I can't vote for him. It's another thing to just repeat the DNC talking points, which I think he did. I don't quote me exactly. I don't remember. I don't really watch Michael Moore anymore. I just hear his name and go, no, thank you. Alex Ogle, Moore is the kind of degenerate who would say, with all sincerity, pineapple belongs on pizza. Yeah, you're damn right he is. Indie Phantom, I was totally on the Trump train in 2016, yet no say in the election. I certainly watched with great interest. Ardent, yes, Alex, because only a degenerate would say that. Yeah, I mean, you know, I and I get, again, I get not being totally for Trump in 2016 to some degree. I mean, he was an unknown entity. But after a amazing economy and no war for 4 years, like what the hell else do you want? What the hell else do you want? So, I mean, the people who continue to support the Democrats have been exposed as the phonies they are. So, I say they're all going to be radioactive going forward. And I've been saying that for years. These people in Hollywood don't know what's coming. A lot of them who supported Biden through the worst of this, they are in trouble. I mean, Jack Black is doing a movie called Dear Satan. I don't think it's doing any business. I think it opened this weekend. I thought it was going to be on this list. Or maybe it didn't open this week. Yeah, that his career is in trouble, I think. Alex Ogle, yes, that will be clipped. You even said yeah at the end. Oh, it's the salt shall be mined. All right, moving on to Variety. Here's Y2K, an article on that. See, Rachel Zegler looks better in this. Her cleavage distracts from their face. Alex Ogle, I lull you into a false sense of security with my Call Me Father Christmas pitch. Putty in my hands. Damn you, Alex. Indie Phantom, Dear Santa went direct to streaming. Oh, it did? I thought it was going to get some kind of theater opening. JC, I think Dear Santa went straight to streaming. Oh, it is Dear Santa, isn't it? Indie Phantom, I think it was on YouTube for free. Oh my God. Well, that doesn't bode well at all. Yeah, I think Jack Black is probably done. And it's even worse for a guy like him because he's a comedian, or comedic, I'll say, and he had such a reputation for doing wacky things on the internet. He'll never sustain that, I don't think. His fans, I mean, he lost Trump fans, I think. I think he just lost them. So, Indie Phantom, I heard Zegler was nude in it, but maybe clickbait? I hadn't heard that. That'd be great. I'd respect her for that. I really would. All right, I have to hit the bathroom, Joan. You're going to have to take over for a minute. Sorry. Everybody watch Joan. Joan, no flips. Do not upstage me. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Whew. I had to get the backup iced tea because it's so dry in here. This is my iced tea container from the show. It was such a short show, I didn't drink it all. All right. Where was I? Indie Phantom, Jack Black is a fool. Alex Ogle, yes, the Joan comedy section. Ardent, quick, while he's gone. Gamer word, the stream. Alex Ogle, Joan is the next Jimmy Carr. Hilarious. Ardent, she's ruder than Frankie Boyle ever was. JC, wow, Joan, you're so good at juggling. How do you do that without any thumbs? Ardent, Joan, you can't say that about black people. Damn it, Joan. What did I tell you? You have to say that for Rumble. Alex Ogle, quick, back in the basket. You guys. No, sorry about that. Yeah, I had no idea. Is she really naked in this? Or you gotta be joshing me. I think there's no way she'd be topless. But she would have all kinds of respect for me if she went topless in this. Because at least that would be cool. It's not so much seeing them, although I would like to see them. It's just that she did it. That's what I loved about, what the hell was that Jennifer Lawrence movie? No Hard Feelings. She was completely nude in that. Ardent, LOL Rumble. She's been saying things that would get her banned from Gab. Oh my God. Joan. Bad dog. And after Dick Masterson was here. No wonder he was in the chat. It's very strange Dick Masterson was here. I tried to get on Dick Masterson's show once, and because he's friends with a friend of mine, so it was kind of weird that he just showed up. Indie Phantom, if Zegler just sluts it up now, I am in. Yeah, exactly. You would gain some respect for her, and she's still young enough that she could, if they put up enough makeup on her and enough push-up bras and other hot outfits, I think she'd look good. I just saw a still from, it's Brie Larson from I'm going to say, it's definitely pre-Captain Marvel. I'm going to say 10 years ago. She's in a bikini. She's all tarted up, as they say. She looks great. And I'm just like, why can't we see more of that Brie? Ardent, I couldn't figure out where I knew Zegler from. The trailer for the second Shazam movie. Indie Phantom, I bet Y2K gets the period details wrong. Possibly, but it looks fun nonetheless. I have seen Zegler look good. Yeah, she can look good. Ardent, Scott Pilgrim, period, Brie Larson was sexy. Yeah, I think that's about where it ended. Let's see. What else is going on? Oh my God. Dana Carvey is still doing SNL. I feel bad for the dude because his career kind of went off the rails because he apparently had heart problems, and then he had an operation, and apparently the doctor screwed it up, and he suffered all kinds of medical complications for years, and he was out of the mix. And now he's back, but now he's back on SNL trying to prop it up, and it's kind of not working. Indie Phantom, yeah, we'll check out Y2K for sure. Barry Keoghan deactivates Instagram account due to lies and discussing commentary about his family. Too many lines being crossed. Barry. Listen to me. Here's what you do. If you're a celebrity as big as you, and you're a movie star now, you don't run your own social media. Okay? The only reason to run your own social media, especially Instagram, you're in shape. You can get model gigs. Like Sydney Sweeney makes ridiculous bank, I'm sure, off of her Instagram. She posts hot pictures of herself all day long. But you don't have to interact with anybody. Just ignore the comments, dude. just post a few shirtless pics of yourself in whatever designer clothes they'll pay you for. And, you can make a couple of dozen grand for the week. Indie Phantom. Carvey should have done it once. Now he's in with Alec Baldwin. Yeah, Alec Baldwin. Jesus. Like, they had the perfect excuse to cut out Alec Baldwin from show business. Like, the excuse would be, we can't work with you anymore, Alec. You shot a woman and killed her. Now, it was an accident, but, we can't take the chance for an insurance. Like, they had the perfect out for him. They're not taking it. So the end result is they kind of have to pretend like it never happened. And that's way worse. Like, at least if they cut him out for a few years, 4 or 5 years from now, maybe he comes back and starts doing stuff. Nope, he's just he ain't missing a beat, apparently. No, thank you. Ardent, did Carvey make some bad financial choices or something? He should have been pretty well off after Wayne's World movies, I would have thought. No, well, prior to that, he had all the medical problems, and then, I don't know, I think he wants to get back in the game. Honestly, I think that's just the motivation. And they're probably offering him some amount of money to do SNL just because, that is going to bring in people. And they need to prop up SNL, I think. So, he's been doing his podcast, which I think is going well. But I don't know. I'll say this. I mean, Carvey is kind of funny. I never thought he was the funniest guy, but I thought he was okay. So, at least that brings some amount of comedy back to SNL, but I just hate SNL now. I just want it to end. End it on its 50th year. Just do a year of callbacks and then shut it down gracefully, but they won't. I bet they won't. Alex, they can't get rid of Baldwin. Everyone's got something on everyone else. He's protected by some sort of list or degeneracy. Probably, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. But we're not going to know about it until they're dead, so all those people would have to be dead, and it has to be 20 years later, and then maybe you find out. Indie Phantom, who was the best all-time SNL star? John Belushi. He was the best on the show. The best in history would probably be Bill Murray. But Belushi was so funny on the show. I don't remember really a single sketch where Belushi didn't steal the... If he wasn't the star of the sketch, he would steal the show. He would steal the scene. Almost every time. That Belushi was so charismatic. I mean, he's amazing on the show. He really was. Indie Phantom, Daniel Baldwin is pro-Trump. Alec doesn't speak to him. Not surprising. I was going to say Belushi. Yeah, I mean, he was just amazing. If you watch, and Don the Second, if you're still on the stream, if you watch old Saturday Night Lives with Belushi, I mean, one of the funniest sketches of all time is Samurai Night Fever, which is Belushi's samurai character in Saturday Night Fever in the role of the brother who's supposed to be... Oh, no, he's the role of Tony. And then O.J. Simpson was the host, and he plays the role of his brother who's going to be a priest and then has to tell the family he's not going to be a priest anymore. And it's the most amazing sketch of all time. It's so damn funny. Ardent. Chris Farley was my Belushi. John had died by the time I started watching. LOL, I remember Samurai Night Fever. Yeah, it recently came back on Twitter or X, and it was going around again. Oh my God. That's just such an amazing sketch. From it's so layered. It's crazy. It's crazy how good that sketch is. And Belushi is amazing in it because he just speaks in nonsense Japanese gibberish the entire time. It's the best. It's the absolute best. All the samurai sketches were genius. One of my favorites is Samurai Taylor because Buck Henry is in it, and Buck Henry to me was the, and again this is very old school. Buck Henry was the best guest on Saturday Night Live. He was a writer and sometimes actor, but he's not in a lot of things. But he's dead now, I believe, and yeah, he's definitely dead because I remember mourning his passing. He wrote for Get Smart and stuff with Mel Brooks. He's so damn funny. So Samurai Taylor, Buck Henry goes in for a suit, and the tailor's the samurai, and Belushi's just doing straight up responses while Buck Henry's just jabbering away. And at the end of the sketches, Buck Henry is like, "Hey, wait a minute! You didn't give me a fly for my suit. How am I supposed to wear this thing without a fly?" And the samurai has to cut the fly, and so Buck Henry just goes like this, and then Belushi winds up to use his sword to cut him a fly. And then then it freezes, and it would always end with "Tune in next week for Samurai Taylor," and then there would never be a follow-up, which was part of the joke. Indie Phantom, Buck Henry wrote The Graduate. Yes. He was so good. He was so good. And so damn funny. And he didn't necessarily want to be the star. Brendan Fraser pays tribute to his horse Pecos, who was in horsey heaven. He saved not my life, but certainly an emotional part of me. Okay, well that's sad, I guess. Alex Ogle, the difference with British comedy, we had Morecambe and Wise show, and the two Ronnies, much more language wit. Belushi also was the head of the restaurant. Cheeseburger. He was the dad in the Greek restaurant. Bill Murray was the son who didn't speak English. All right, Fandom Pulse. Author Delilah Dawson outlines how writing for IPs like Star Wars or Star Trek fails to pay and is in essence a publishing scam. Okay. Good to know. Ardent, I loved the two Ronnies when I was a kid. Used to come on right before Wayne and Schuster. Ardent, CBC comedy used to be amazing. I liked SCTV. I used to watch that all the damn time. Leaked internal Slack messages show avowed development team is captured by woke mind virus. Well, I think we all knew that. If you've been following this story, Avowed has apparently a bunch of staffers who have said a bunch of woke things over the past, I'll say, 2 months. And one thing's woker than the next, and it's like bizarre because like the election's over, and you think some of these people would just let, as they used to say, sleeping dogs lie, and just shut up. Nope. They got a game coming out, and they want you to know you're probably racist, in my view. Ardent, I believe a lot of the Star Wars writers from the extended universe are having trouble getting Disney to pay out. I'm not surprised. Again, I hate Disney. Always have for a long time. And I've heard many, many rumors over the years about how Disney, and this is just a rumor, right, Disney? I'm just speculating. This is just my opinion of things I've heard. I don't know if they're true, but I've heard that Disney will just stop paying people. And good luck suing them because they got a team of lawyers. And if they do the math and decide they don't want to pay you, well, apparently they just stop paying you. Maybe see if you notice. I guess. I don't know. I've heard that. I don't know if it's true. But I do know they were in a lawsuit with Robin Williams over some of his royalties for the Genie movie. I remember that. Arnett, I just remember Section 31 Trek has a trailer out and just queued it up in another window, and even the thumbnail screams woke. Yeah, I hear that's gonna be a S show. So it also sounds like it flies in the face of Gene Roddenberry's concept, which was that the Federation was a utopia. And that was part of the show. And that was really tough for even some of the writers to accept. But the idea is that there's no problems with the Federation. The problems are in the exploration. The idea was you wanted explorers exploring the universe and dealing with stuff out there, not internally. And he would rewrite the episodes himself in the OG Star Trek. Arden at Indie Phantom, Adam is the best Waldman anyway. Alex Ogle, Star Wars is such a limited galaxy. Disney are struggling to expand the story since it only works in World War II setting. Well, just like anything else, if you have good writers and you listen to them, you can make it work. But I think that ship has sailed. I think Star Wars is dead. Star Trek, you probably could fix it, but why bother at this point? They should shelve both these properties for 20 years. Never mention them. Sell their merch or whatever. Sell the best of the merch and the best of the DVDs and Blu-rays all day long. But stop making new stuff. Let it settle. Let everybody forget. Let some more of the cast die. And then bring it back in 20 years when people have mostly forgotten your woke, stupid TV shows. And then restart it right. Indie Phantom. Yeah, is Adam even related? Adam. Is Adam even related? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Did you get, do you mean Andor? Ardent. Star Wars dead. Star Trek on life support. Keep Disney away from Farscape and Buffy. Just make something new, I would. Alex Ogle. Midnight's Edge reviewed the Rohirrim movie and decided it wasn't terrible, but that's a franchise being flogged to death like Star Wars and Trek. Yeah, like this will be the beginning of the end for that kind of stuff. And then they're going to reboot it and forget it. Indie Phantom. Star Wars needs to be permanently shelved. Ardent. No, Adam Baldwin isn't related. He's the guy from Firefly. Oh, you were... sorry. Sorry, I got confused on our threads there. Okay, here we go. Multiple creators, including Neon from Clownfish TV and that Umbrella guy, Savage Indiegogo, after company fails to pay. Oh yeah, this was for you weebs out there. Common America. They have a bunch of projects and they apparently deliver totally on time, but Indiegogo is jamming them up for some reason. Indie Phantom. I think Adam is in Full Metal Jacket. I think you may be right. Star Trek actress Michelle Yeoh whines that women in Hollywood not even given the opportunity to try. That is utter BS, especially this week. There was an article about something about unity or whatever and women supporting other women. in the industry, and it was a big picture of like 7 studio execs, all women, who are big muckety mucks in the studios. Look, ladies, at this point, you know what? Take the studios, wreck them. I don't care as a creator. I want to see the studios go downhill. I want some new studios to emerge, ones that will take risk on guys like me. So go ahead, ladies, wreck it all. Wreck Disney, wreck Warner Brothers, and maybe finally some of my contemporaries will go, hey, maybe it's a bad idea just to put someone in charge because they have a certain genital configuration. Yeah, maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe we should only put people in charge who know what the F they're doing. Indie Phantom and My Bodyguard. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's from that movie. Alex Ogle, Michelle Yeoh had the most charmed of careers and has nothing of which to complain. Yeah, this really sort of sours me on her. So I had, for a while, I had Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of in my queue that I was going to see it at some point. Now I'm pretty much crossing it on off the list after that headline. Russell T. Davies admits, speaking of dead franchises, Russell T. Davies admits Doctor who not picked up for season 3 and calls the Disney-produced run a lovely experiment. Yes, a lovely experiment where you ruin Doctor Who, apparently. So, thanks a lot for that. Fortunately, this is a franchise that it's probably easier to save than the other ones. However, it's based out of Disney and communist UK, so I don't think there's any saving this one. Not until the UK is overthrown and the communists are driven from the aisle. I don't see that happening anytime soon. So maybe in the next election, if they don't completely fix it. Indie Phantom, I loathe Michelle Yeoh. She is even in the crap Star Trek. Yes. JC, does lovely mean failed in England? Maybe. Alex Ogle, a lovely experiment sounds like the way leftists describe the Soviets. Yeah. What an absolute S show that was. Hollywood Reporter, LA Film Critics Association winners list, updating live. Oh, it's a still from Enora. I guess Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross of Nine Inch Nails won Best Score for Challengers. Mikey Madison was honored for Enora. Oh, okay. And Kiera Culkin for A Real Pain. All right. So that doesn't sound too bad, that lineup. Alex Ogle at JEC. We are given to understatement. A Kneecap sweeps the British Independent Film Awards. Enora takes Best International Indie Film. In case you don't know, Kneecap is the name of an Irish rap band that they rap in English and Irish, which is called a specific language, Gaelic, I guess, right? I guess it's Gaelic. So they rap in both English and Gaelic. And their whole deal is they started a big trend with the kids in Ireland to learn their own language. And because apparently they were discouraged from learning it. And that was part of, that ties into the occupation and various things. So the Kneecap movie looked kind of cool. It's like a pseudo documentary. It's like if the Beastie Boys made a movie starring the Beastie Boys about how they came to be, like when they were in their prime. It's kind of like that. It doesn't look bad. It kind of looks cool. I mean, the music is interesting too, because it's like they go back and forth between Gaelic and English, and then like you understand them, and then suddenly they're still rapping, and then you have no idea what they're saying. Indie Phantom watched only older films last weekend, and life is already better. Storbang Gaelic, thank you. Storbang is here. Hi. Let's see. Storebang, earlier we asked Don the Second was looking for movie recommendations because he is only 23 and he's looking for old movie recommendations. Also, Indie Phantom, you can throw your choices too. If Don is still listening, I'm not sure. For like a movie he should see, an old movie he should see, and we gave him a whole bunch. Arden gave him a whole bunch, so. All right, moving on to Bounding into Comics. CCXP Merchandise may have revealed the Superman movie poster. This is the movie about Christopher Reeve. Alleged leaks for next Avatar series reveals amputee female protagonist, confirmation of Korra as most powerful bender. Well, that's gone woke. I was kind of woke to begin with, quite frankly. I'm not surprised. Alex Ogle, kneecap was the punishment doled out to informants on the IRA. Oh, that's kind of edgy. The victim was fired at with a gun to bypass the YouTube language bots through the back of the knees. Ooh, to be permanently disabled. Ouch. That's just kind of painful to think about. Wow. Well, that makes their name now makes way more sense. Okay. Interesting. All right. Alleged leaks for next Avatar series. I just can't believe they're actually making this woke. But good. I hate Avatar with a burning passion of 500 Suns. So I would love to see it go woke and completely collapse. LeMay, Korra also was responsible for destroying their world. Okay. Yeah, I don't care. I can't stand Avatar. I thought the first movie was meh at best. Would love to see the whole thing collapse. Storebang, I would love to recommend The Swimmer 1966 with Burt Lancaster, peak mid-century boomer angst. Interesting choice. Thank you for that. So yeah, goodbye, Avatar. We hardly knew ye, and I don't care. Let's see. James Gunn's Creature Commandos puts modern audience spin on comic book canon, turns Sons of Themyscira from tribe of exiled Amazon men into anti-woke militia. Oh. Is that what he's doing with it? Well, that sounds not good. Sounds not good at all. Alex Ogle at Storebang, good recommendation. JC, Avatar was an animated TV show. It's actually not bad. It has nothing to do with the James Cameron movie. Oh. Hold on. Let me go back. So this is the other Avatar. This is the, okay, this Avatar. Oh. Okay. I don't know. I don't watch this one either. Indie Phantom, some quick must-sees. Serpico, ooh, good one. The Tenant, Magnum Force, The Wild Bunch, House of Games. Ooh, all good ones. Indie Phantom, Unsee Avatar. I can't. It's burned into my brain. Exclusive interview. Granddaughter of Batman co-creator Bill Finger talks DC The Dark Knight in their campaign to get him a star on the Walk of Fame. I think it's too late for that. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. Hellboy 2, the Golden Army director Guillermo del Toro believes we won't see anything like practical effects in his duology again in our lifetime. Possibly. I think it's going to be a temporary situation, though. JC, I like the Wild Bunch. The reason I clicked on this is because I wanted to remind myself, I just watched Hellboy, The Crooked Man. And we talked about this on the stream weeks and weeks ago when the trailer came out. It was really good. It was a horror B version of a Hellboy movie starring Jack Casey, who's from Yellowstone, and it takes place in 1959. Total recommend. Ardent, we all missed the Christopher Reeve Superman movies for Don the Second. Oh yeah. Storebang, thank you, Alex. Glad you enjoy the obscure stuff. Indie Phantom, love me some Peckinpah. Bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia. I've seen some of those movies, probably on television, when I was a kid, like at my relative's house. You know, I didn't have nothing to do. This is prior to the internet days. And I would usually just sit in a back room and watch TV, and there'd be a bunch of old movies on, and I would watch old movies. Ardent, Hellboy the Crooked Man, is it animated? It is not. It is live action, and it is pretty damn good. It didn't make it into theaters. It pretty much went right to streaming here. I think it got into theaters overseas for some reason. It only made like $1.3 million overseas. And I think they went right to video here. So I saw it, I think it was on Amazon for $1.99. Indie Phantom, not animated. It was really good. Where's it streaming? Amazon. So it was $1.99 this weekend. It was normally $6.99, so it was perfect time to watch it. Don't care about that. More on Kneecap. John Wick spinoff Ballerina unveils featurette during Comic-Con Brazil live stream. I don't think this will be any good. I just don't. I like Ana de Armas. I think she's hot, but I just don't think a female John Wick's going to do much. Ardent, $1.99. I'd buy that for $1. At Don the Second, RoboCop, the original with Peter Weller, also Buckaroo Banzai. Ardent, sorry, I keep remembering great films. Buckaroo Banzai wasn't great, but it's very cult classic, and it had a lot of potential. That's the one movie I can't believe they haven't remade from the 80s, is Buckaroo Banzai, because they have an opportunity to start that franchise over, because there's a bunch of books for Buckaroo Banzai apparently, and I heard they're pretty good, but I don't think they're going to do them. Storebang, what's that movie where they had to move a ship over a stretch of land? Was that Peckinpah? Isn't that the one that originally starred Mick Jagger? And then they recast him? Or was he in it? Oh, gosh. I know the movie you're talking about. I think they recently made a documentary about it. I don't remember what it was called. Because it was like an opera house inside like a giant steamboat or something. Ardent, they can't figure out how to make a Buckaroo Banzai movie. Yeah, that's the problem. Although John Lithgow and Christopher Lloyd are very funny in it. I think they need to do it as a comedy. I think that's the only way it can work. Because it's so ridiculous and crazy. You can do that with a comedy and get away with it. JC, I just read some Jerry Cornelius books by Michael Moorcock. Buckaroo Banzai is basically a ripoff of him. Oh, really? Interesting. Oh, yeah, there it is. Indie Phantom's got it. Fitzcarraldo. Yep, that's it. That's the movie about the ship being dragged across the jungle. Fitzcarraldo. And I think the documentary I saw was about the making of it. Ardent. Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. LeMay. Donnie Darko for the 2000s. That's an interesting movie, I guess. It's weird. Let's see. More on Celine Dion. Celine Dion's got this terrible stiff person syndrome. She can't perform anymore, but she keeps showing up in movies and appearances. So I find it weird, but I guess it's not that bad yet, but it's like, I don't know. Am I Racist duo Matt Walsh and Justin Folk believe America is ready to move on from discussing race. Okay, Contenders documentary. Maybe. I don't know, we'll see. All right, moving on to Bleeding Fool. Disney releases a music video for Skeleton Crew version of Major Tom. That sounds like something the kids will love. JC Fitzcarraldo. It's a Herzog movie. Oh, right. The documentary about the making of it is called Burden of Dreams. The documentary is better than the movie. Yeah, the documentary's wild. I didn't see the whole thing, but I watched part of it, and I was just like, oh my God, these people were crazy. Skeleton Crew. Turns out that went woke in episode 3, where they introduce 2 lesbian mommies. But I hear it starts off pretty good in the first 2 episodes. I just don't care. I mean, it's Star Wars. I'm out until Disney makes a real commitment to purge all the woke crap from their studio. I mean, when they start showing Song of the South again, I'll say, okay, I guess they're finally ready to stop doing this crap. When they remake Song of the South, then I know they're done. They're never going to do that, by the way. Mattel got sued for the porn site web link on the Wicked doll packaging. Oh, come on, that was a common mistake. Indie Phantom, yeah, I heard the doc is awesome. Yeah, so Mattel accidentally put, instead of wickedmovie.com, they put wicked.com, and there's a porn production company called Wicked, and so people ended up going to the porn site, and it was a big to-do. It was on the package of the doll. How nobody working at the doll company didn't check that website is beyond me, but JC, I love movies about the making of movies that go crazy. Burden of Dreams, Hearts of Darkness, Persistence of Vision. I normally don't like movies about making of movies, but that documentary was pretty interesting. Ardent, Song of the South, LOL, I'd settle for Swamp Fox. Indie Phantom, here Disney, I am out. Indie Phantom, yeah, I need Song of the South on Blue, then maybe. Yeah, it's never gonna happen. Let's see. JC, the porn site doesn't want the good name of their website associated with a movie like Wicked. I don't blame them. It's going to get everybody soft. You don't want that. Thundercats Classic Comics remastered and collected for the first time. Oh, well, there you go. Something from the past. If you're a Thundercats fan. I mean, it was okay. I never thought it was great. Star Wars Mark Hamill uses Biden pardoning Hunter to trash Trump. So that was on Blue Sky, of course, because he would have been ratioed on X into oblivion. I'm on Blue Sky, by the way. So far, I'm not having a problem, but, you know, I expect at some point one of the, wokies will drift into my field of vision and yell at me or get me banned off of Blue Sky, I guess. I don't know. It's just boring over there, quite frankly. It doesn't have much traffic for me, but I just got on it. People are following me though, so that's good, I guess. But I think it's funny because I think a lot of woke people just don't really pay attention, and they don't scratch beneath the surface of anything. So because they're so utterly obsessed with themselves, they don't think to do it. So I mean, I have fans who are pretty woke, some of them, and they read all my books and they have no idea about my political views, even though they catch me in various places on social media. Some of them do, and some of them are cool about it. They're fine. They're like, well, you don't put it in your books, so that's cool. But it's weird that a lot of them just seem to be oblivious to it, I think. JC, another Herzog documentary I really like is called My Best Friend, about his relationship with Klaus Kinski, who starred in Fitzcarraldo. Indie Phantom, is Blue Sky good for something? I guess. I mean, I think I may have gotten a few sales on it because I actually went there and posted my books and then got a few sales, but that just might be a coincidence of timing. But, it seems to work. I'll say that. It seems to be the hot thing because everybody's trying to make it a new thing. But the funny thing is, everybody who accomplishes something on Blue Sky runs over to Twitter to announce it there. It seems. And they're like, hey, guess what? I've got 1,000 followers on Blue Sky and counting. And it's just like, why are you announcing it over here then? Why don't you announce it on Blue Sky to your 1,000 followers? But I don't know. It's I think the initial sheen will wear off and then it'll go back to whatever it was. And I think a lot of these guys will come back to X grudgingly, of course, quietly but grudgingly the next time they have a project, because I don't think there's enough people on Blue Sky, and I don't think you're going to get enough interaction on it. It is, my understanding is it's heavily censored for certain politics. But everybody all day is just, I mean, if you want to see old Twitter, just go to Blue Sky. It's pretty old school Twitter. So I just didn't even put any of my politics on there. But, somebody might click something and then come see who I really am, and then see Joan and go, oh my God, you have such a base dog. Over at the Wrap, former Dodgers owner says attempt to buy TikTok is the people's bid. I'm not looking to be CEO. Okay. I mean, if you buy it from the Chinese, that would be a step in the right direction, I guess, but you're going to have to get rid of all the software, the intrusive software, and I don't know if you'll do that. JC, you can be based in fiction and they won't catch on as long as you don't use any trigger words. Woke people read pissant apocalypse, but they never catch on it's about the lockdowns. Interesting. Indie Phantom, not having them on X is going to be great for future elections. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It may just create two bubbles, which is bad. But we'll see. I mean, X is much less of a bubble. And it's not trying to be a bubble, but it could end up sort of being a bubble, because the only guys that'll tough it out, it seems right now, are the shills that are being paid to tough it out. And a few diehard idiots who just keep posting the most annoying post ever. And quite frankly, when I see someone do that and they keep posting annoying political stuff, I just mute them. And I assume people do the same thing to me after a while. They just, if I post too many political stuff, they just go, oh, shut up. But, and I don't have a problem with that, but it is what it is. And it may create, two different bubbles. But I kind of see the future of the internet, kind of the future of what happened to Reddit in a lot of ways, because Reddit was a massive message board and everybody just went off into their own corner doing whatever. And then it wasn't just two bubbles, it was like a million bubbles all kinds of crazy bubbles of people who just have no clue what they're talking about the moment they leave their bubble. In their bubble, maybe they have some amount of knowledge, but then outside of that, forget it. And that's fine if you're just in the Reddit room for, I don't know, anime or something relatively obscure. I don't know, anime's not that obscure. I don't know, pick something more obscure. Let's say action figures. You know, something like a small hobby, even smaller than that. Let's say knitting, or I don't know, making wooden decoy ducks. But even that will have some intrigue or whatever. But for the most part, you'll know what you're talking about, at least for the decoy ducks. But then you move into something like politics, and it's just like, dude. JC, Joan would never last on Blue Sky. Oh, God, no. I can't put Joan on Blue Sky. JC, Blue Sky is going to end up like Parler or Getter. Yeah, probably. I still post on Getter. Parler, I can't even find it anymore. Getter still seems to have a little life in it, but it's hard to tell. Indian action film Pushpa 2 tops a busy specialty box office. So, this movie did big business in India, had like the biggest opening weekend ever for an Indian movie, I think, at 77 million was there. After translate it from wasn't rupees, something bigger than that. It was called crores. It was like a bigger Indian monetary denomination, I guess. So I've got my Indian fans on the comments asking me to do more Indian films evaluations. It's really hard to do because a lot of them, they put out trailers that don't make any damn sense to me, and I have no idea what's going on. But this movie looks cool, I'll say. I kind of want to see it. It's a sequel to a Pushpa 1. And this guy is a sandalwood smuggler. And I think in the first movie he won the girl of his dreams, and now in the second movie he goes up against this rival gangster, and while avoiding the cops and smuggling sandalwood, which I guess is made in India. I didn't know that. And then there's a million action scenes, and then there's a bunch of singing. I like the action scenes in the movie. The singing, I was just like, what? When is this over? Although I kind of liked one of the songs in RRR, which I reviewed. But I don't know. I can't get half these movies, so maybe if they come to the United States and are dubbed, or they're on some stream and they're in English, and I don't know. Ardent, I still have a Getter and Parler. Post nothing but links to my content there. No engagement, as far as I could tell. Yeah, same for me. Indie Phantom, Bollywood sucks. I tried to watch RRR and no. Oh man, you didn't watch the scene where they escaped from prison? That was the fun scene. JC, Indian people might be amused with your confusion about Indian movie trailers, trying to figure them out. Yeah. So maybe I'll do a few more, but I don't want to become like the guy who looks at Indian trailers channel. But this one looked cool. This one I'd probably watch. And this is it's in Telugu, which is a different language. They have like a ridiculous amount of languages in India. So this is technically Tollywood. Like each ethnic division or language division has their own movies, right? In their own various languages. They eventually dub them all in the Hindi, I think, or maybe they shoot them in Hindi too. I think Hindi's the biggest language there. But so they have Tollywood. They have like a million. Like, it's not just Bollywood. It's a bunch of different woods. JC, you'll need to start a new channel where you just watch Indian trailers over 1 billion people in. Yeah, might be lucrative. JC, India, a view is a view. That is true. Yeah, I will stick, Indie Phantom. Yeah, I will stick with the Indian food and pass on the entertainment. Oh my God, Matthew Sweet had a stroke. Oh my God, look at him. He's kind of heavy. Musician had no insurance and no touring income, but has raised more than 500K via GoFundMe. Oh my God, he's recovering from a stroke. I had no idea. Poor Matthew Sweet. Oh my God, I don't look how heavy he looks. He looks terrible. This is from 2017. Well, we gotta love the fans. He had a stroke, a massive stroke in October, cutting his tour short and leaving him facing massive medical costs. Oh, that's a shame. How does this guy not have money? A lot of people don't have as much money as you think who are famous, unfortunately. Storebang, I don't have Threads. It was just a joke about alternative Twitter. Yeah, Threads is like, I don't know. I refuse to go to Threads. It's so annoying. I hate Instagram. I can't imagine what Threads is like. So, JC, that one guy who did those videos where he sung over anime videos in the mid-90s. Yes, that is him. But I haven't seen him since then, so it's a bit of a shock to see him like this. He's still trying to, like, you can see he's still trying to do his young guy hair thing. But like he grew gray sideburns for some reason. Why would you keep the sideburns, dude? Just shave them off, or is that a wig? Dude. Yeah, you're too heavy. Oh man. That's rough. Ardent. Matthew Sweet, what was his big hit? Girlfriend was the song. That's the one he sings over the anime video. JC, Matthew Sweet got some airplay in the 90s, but I don't think he charted recently. No, I don't think so either. Matthew Sweet did Girlfriend. It was that song, 'Cause I need to get back in the arms of a good friend. JC, dyes his hair, but not his sideburns. Yeah, weird. Honey, I'd believe me. Sure like to call you my girlfriend. It's a good song. All right, more on various things. Amazon Prime debuts Reacher Season 3, announces premiere date. I'm going to give this one more season. I didn't really like Reacher Season 2. Thought it was a bit late, bit lame, but it was okay. I'm hoping Season 3 will be better. There's rumors they're trying to spin off the female character into her own series. Ardent. LOL. Never heard hit before. I think I had discovered Zappa at the time. Ah. Alright. And finally, over Cosmic Book News. Marvel's Ironheart villain gets bad news. Don't read the comics. Okay. Done and done. Will not read. Who the heck wants to read an Ironheart comic at this point? Jesus. Marvel is just lost. I mean, honestly, if I was rich already, and then they said, hey, could you do something about Marvel Comics? Yeah, I could shut the whole place down. I'll do it pro bono. Yeah, I'll go in there and fire everybody for nothing. You don't have to pay me. No, I'll just do it for the love of the game. Ardent, deal. Storebang, my local radio stations play the same music over and over. Supertramp's Logical Song, John Cougar Mellencamp, Pat Benatar every day. Never any Matthew Sweet Girlfriend. ASCAP Effers. I always liked that song. I don't think I liked any of his other songs, but I don't think I ever heard any of his other songs. Indie Phantom, these comics killed themselves. Ardent, do it for the views. Stream the whole thing. Oh, that would be fun. Next, I'm firing the guy who made Spider-Man woke. Let's watch. I've got a mortgage and 2 kids. You're fired. Oh, that was easy. Oh, no. Lou Ferrigno wants to Hulk smash back in the MCU. The OG hasn't been a fan of Marvel's Green Goliath in years. Well, I hate to agree with Lou Ferrigno. JC, watching the Matthew Sweet video. The song is basically a ripoff of Jefferson Airplane, Need Somebody to Love. I like the guitars. Yeah, I thought it was catchy. Yeah, I don't like Lou Ferrigno. I don't know if I could tell this story, but I'll tell you the rumor I heard. The rumor is Lou Ferrigno may or may not have hit on a certain person's fiance at the time. JC, need to fire every writer and bring new people in. Indie Phantom, is Ferrigno woke? No. Not as far as I know. He is up there, though. I don't know how. Maybe what he wants to do is rent his image out to Marvel Comics so, original Hulk could be in it. Maybe they'll do that in Secret Wars or something. That'd be funny. Aaron Pierre shares his excitement about playing Green Lantern's John Stewart. Okay. LeMay, I still remember when a Marvel recruiter visited our class and a student asked what he was looking for. The guy said, we are looking for people who are like this room. In other words, diverse. Yeah. Yep, that was what Marvel was recruiting. The rainbow. Yeah, Aaron Pierre, you should calm down because Damon Lindelof is involved in your show, and I don't think it's going to be good because of that. That's just my personal opinion. I just happen to think that Damon Lindelof is the Antichrist of screenwriters, so sorry. So the DCU looks worse and worse every time I read another article about it at this point. So, Creature Commandos, maybe a little woke. I think it's just gonna. I think what Warner Brothers did, rather than say, "Oh no, we're not going to do that woke stuff," what they said was, "Okay, we'll just do both. Yeah, we'll make everybody happy," and that's not going to work. JC, Lou tried to steal your girl, Tony. Seeing as you divorced her, probably was trying to do you a favor. Well, that's the rumor, but I can neither confirm nor deny. Wheel of Time is back. That one went woke too. I called that one during my trailer analysis. 28 years later, drops trailer teaser, first poster. I don't know if this is going to be any good, but we'll see. I'll wait. I'll probably wait for the full trailer. Invincible Season 3 trailer unveiled in CCXP Brazil. So if you care about that, that's coming. LeMay, he ended up picking a lady who wanted to do storyboards for DreamWorks for a Spider-Gwen variant cover. Ah. Superman reshoots explain. James Gunn sets the record straight. Yeah, because we haven't heard from James Gunn in about, I'm going to say 2 minutes of the Superman movie. Does this guy do anything but tweet about the Superman movie? Is he on the set? Like, okay, wait a minute. Before we do the shot. It's like tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet. I just want him to make the movie. JC, the anime Matthew Sweet is singing over is Cobra in what? The anime Matthew Sweet is singing over. Oh, the anime Matthew Sweet is singing over is Cobra, in case you were wondering. Ah. Okay, is that a good anime? Indie Phantom, damn Tony, I thought you were one of us Bachelors, one of us. Oh, I am now, but I have a girlfriend, so technically not. Uh, Ardent. Ugh. I have to wait for February 6th for Invincible Season 3. Indie Phantom. James Gunn has tired me of Superman. Yeah, me too. It's like, just make the movie, James. Give us like a couple of months where you don't talk about it and then come out with some information about Superman that's relevant. Ardent at Indie Phantom. LOL, it's not his fault. She tricked him into saying he'd go out with her. Indie Phantom. Guess he's doing his own X tweets. I think he is. I would be shocked to learn that an intern was posting all that. Star Wars. James Mangold doesn't know what's next. Okay, script not finished. Again, who cares? Oh, and yeah, James Mangold apparently said Indiana Jones blames the fans for the failure of the movie. So, again, I don't care about the previous movies that Mangold did that were good. I think he's ruined himself with Indy 5. So, and I don't think he's coming back from that. I kind of think once you sell your talent out for a big paycheck, you kind of don't recover. I mean, Taika Waititi, I think, did the same thing. I don't think he's coming back from it. I would love to see him come back from it. I would love to see him like step away from the big studio picks and do something crazy and outrageous, but I don't think he will. Not until nobody cares about him. When nobody cares about him, when the studio's done with somebody and they throw him to the curb, and then he tries to make a comeback with some lesser studio, and then that doesn't work, and then he's not broke, but he's trying to get back in the game. Then he might do a decent movie. That's when I think it'll happen. James Mangold, I don't think will ever get there. I think he'll be part of the studio system until it collapses. JC, it's not 2006 anymore. A new Superman movie isn't that exciting. Yeah. Superman just isn't that exciting. I mean, I kind of want to see a good Superman movie. Don't get me wrong, but an exciting thing would have been just a well-executed movie. Period. 90 minutes, super tight, action-oriented, solid, that everybody wants to see. And by talking about it endlessly, I think he eventually undermined his own goals. Ardent, good job, morons. Blame the people who didn't watch your film. LeMay, Cobra Space Adventures? It is a fun watch. Oh, cool. Indie Phantom, yeah, bachelors cannot have been married previously. Better bachelor YouTuber is therefore a partial fraud. Oh, interesting. Indie Phantom, Gunn is tired. He needs to return to trauma. Super tights. I just think James Gunn, I almost don't blame, except for all the tweeting. I think that's his idea, to try to keep the fans like in his circle, in his orbit, constantly tweeting, so he controls the message. And it's an interesting tactic. I don't think it'll work because he's burned me out on Superman, and I'm not totally up for it. The moment I hear one bad thing about it, I'm out. And I've heard a bad thing about Creature Commandos, and I'm pretty much out. So, on that happy note, I'm going to wrap it here because it's 10:02, and I got to go to the bathroom again because I drank all that iced tea. And now I'm wound up and ready to go. So, thank you all for tuning in. Final thoughts, if you will. What did we learn today? Well, we learned there are no new movies on the horizon that are really making any money. And Indie Phantom, I think his Superman will be too niche. Maybe. I think it just won't be that exciting. Like, it's not going to be epic. It's just going to be a Superman movie. So, I don't even think he should have done it first. I think he should have lowered the temperature and the expectations, put out a decent film and not hype it to death. JC. I mean, pre-lockdowns, DC had a fan base who would be excited for this kind of stuff. Yeah. Indie Phantom. Okay, we learned Lou Ferrigno cannot be trusted. JC, I learned nothing. Damn it. LeMay says good night. Good night, LeMay. What did we learn? What did we learn? Yes. We learned about a lot of movies that Don the Second should watch, and some that I should watch. By the way, Indie Phantom, since you're here, Joker 2, I think, is on some streaming platform. It might be. I don't know if it's on Max yet, but I think it might be. I have to check. So I may finally get to watch that and punish myself. Ardent, what we need is an actual Superman, one who doesn't have a wife, would never let his father die, even if it was Kevin Costner, and the forever Boy Scout. Good night. Yes, I agree. It's all we needed. You needed a decent Superman movie. One with a fun Lex Luthor. Sorry, Mr. Luthor. And not a bunch of woke crap. But sounds like the woke crap is creeping in there. But again, I think it's Warner Brothers, so Warner Brothers likes to take every trend. At least DC used to do this. It seems like every trend from 10 years ago, oh yeah, we'll do that. So maybe now they're starting to go woke since it's like 10 years past, and now it's like, oh yeah, we got to start to go woke. We're going to go super woke. Oh, but everybody's out of that now. Oh, no. Now it's the time. JC, yes, I want your Joker 2 review, Tony. I don't think I'm going to like it. But we'll see. I'll try to go in with an open mind. But you can check out my review of Hellboy, The Crooked Man. That was good. That's a good movie. Yes, we learned that is a good movie. Or at least I learned it was a good movie by watching it. We also learned, the Trailer Park Boys have a movie out. If for those of you who tuned in late, the Trailer Park Boys have a brand new movie out. I forget what it was called already. Where is it? Trailer Park Boys, Standing on the Shoulders of Kitties is what it's called. I don't know if it's any good, but it's Trailer Park Boys, so I want to say it. And that really is the most important thing we learned. JC, I want you to watch your Megalopolis review too. Watch that one too. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to watch that as well. Ardent, I believe that the TPB second movie, Trailer Park Boys, Standing on the Shoulders of Kitties. Oh, it's a second. Right. Yeah, they did another movie. I did watch that one. JC, another Trailer Park Boy movie? Yeah, there was a first one. That was the what was it called? Oh, gosh. It's the one where they had the TV station? Or the channel? It's not Fear TV? Was it Fear TV? No, it's not Fear. Something else. Something TV. I forget. But they play themselves. But that one may not be the one you're thinking of. They have done other movies. I think they've done more than one other movie. The other movies are like concert movies where they go and do a live show and film them and then just do some interstitials and stuff. Just the Trailer Park Boys movie? Oh, okay. Says Ardent. JC, I saw the first Trailer Park Boy movie in the theater. JC, Countdown to Liquor Day? Oh, is that the one? Maybe. I don't know. I watched everything on streaming for the Trailer Park Boys, so some of them were movies, but only like, I think, direct-to-video kind of things. But yeah, so Standing on the Shoulders of Kitties, Trailer Park Boys. I'm not sure how much longer they can keep doing this, but maybe one more. Ardent, they've done a bunch. Yeah, Countdown to Liquor Day. Don't legalize it. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I want to thank everybody for attending the stream today. It was quite a shock to see Dick Masterson show up, even if it was only for a minute, to say something crazy. JEC, that wasn't Trailer Park Boys. That was the same group of guys trying to do something different. Yeah. But they kind of do the trailer, right? Like they're the actors from the Trailer Park Boys. And yeah, I don't think they show them doing the show though. But it's supposed to be them. JC, I thought the first movie was supposed to be the end of the series. Sounds like they're going back to the well. Yeah. Alright, anyway, have a good night and get out of here before your bladder bursts and we hear Joan swearing again. Yes, I will do that. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you all in the next one.